We're back. Come on. Mama said there'll be days just like this. If this your first time tuning in to the nation, be sure to sit back and relax. Law Nation got this all under control. Come on. The name is Law Nation. As the room fill up, be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a Jerry Jones party? No doubt, Jerry. Come on. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on. All right. Hey ho. What's good, Cowboy Nation and everybody that's listening? What did I miss, man? God, dog, it felt like I was gone for like a couple of years. And I've only been gone since last Wednesday. But I can tell you, regroup, recharged up, and got a chance to see a lot of stuff that went on without me talking about it, right? But the Dallas Cowboys, money issues, of course, we're going to talk about Jerry Jones and his thoughts on Rain, Dak Prescott, as well as the other things by using 2 franchise tags. One on Terrence Steele. The other one is on Tony Pollard since I've been gone. And I told y'all, that's what the Cowboys do. This is what we like to do. We love to utilize those franchise tags. And then a third of the people going to be saying, Law, ain't nothing wrong with those franchise tags. Ain't nothing wrong with those franchise tags. And then, yeah, let me fix this up right quick. I'm still building the plane. Law, when that plane is ever going to be built, well, whenever I get into my studio, I have a whole team of people, and that may take a minute. But neither here nor there. Appreciate all of you all for still watching some of the older content and keeping the faucet on for me, and as well as those who've been sharing. Sharing is very much caring, and I really appreciate y'all. I love y'all to the moon and back. So, Stanley, appreciate you for your support as well, for your super chat. I really appreciate you for the $5 super chat. I'm back, and we're going to get right to it as well. I don't mind the Terrence Steele franchise tag with the tender, what have you. Like if somebody want to feel froggy and want to jump, they got to jump for a second-round draft pick or something like that, or 2 second rounds or something like that. Was it just 1 second-round draft pick for Terrence Steele? That is a pretty good way to look at it, whereas he's semi in the market or what have you. If we lose him, at least we get something back in return that was greater than the aspect of us using any draft capital for him, right? Terrence Steele was an undrafted guy, so that would be getting something back in a portion of that way. Sadiq, appreciate you. Thank you so much for your love and adulations. I thank you so much, by the way. Appreciate you, Coach Marv. Thank you. Sadiq says, yes, Law, welcome back. I miss you, and I pray your vacation was peaceful and relaxing. Glad to see you back safe on the way to 100K. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I can't wait for this. With the 26th pick, the Cowboys select, Coach Marv with the super chat. Welcome back, man. Transitional tag is best for TP. Yeah, we have until tomorrow, right? I think it's till tomorrow. I think the new season kickoff on March the 15th as well. And we see that money, how you handle money will handle you, right? Look, if somebody right now at the age of 30, if you start putting money and investing right, by the time you're 60, what if I told you if you put the pieces and right things in places, you will be able to retire, even if you started at 30. To when you get to the age of 60, you will at least have $1 million, right? But it's about how you manage your coins. Now, have you ever noticed people that always say, hey, man, I'm broke. Hey, man, I'm busted. Hey, man, I'm disgusted. I have no money. I have no resources to use. And then you see that person 4 years from now, they still saying the same thing. You see that person 8 years from now, you see the same thing. You see those people 16 years and they still talking about, hey, man, I'm broke. I'm trailer park broke. Or, hey, I can't find resources and money to get ahead. Money itself is tomorrow. Appreciate you. Shout out to you, DP. Thank you. So it's crazy. If you don't know how to handle your money, the money will handle you. Now, Law, Jerry Jones is a billionaire. Well, excuse me. The amount of money that you accumulate don't mean or doesn't mean that you know how to handle said money, right? Just because Jerry Jones bought the team for $150 million, I don't know if he kind of borrowed it and never paid him back or what have you, but he fell into the right graces. Doesn't mean that he can handle your portfolio. Doesn't mean that he can process and pay and do your taxes for you, right? The problem is with the Dallas Cowboys, it's nothing to do with Dak Prescott cap hit. Nothing to do with DeMarcus Lawrence cap hit. Nothing to do with Terrence Steele, his ability to pay him or what have you. It have nothing to do with none of those players. It have to do with everything with the philosophy of the Joneses, the philosophical reasonings of why they are hitting where they are at is because of their approach to it. It's just that, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely just that. Why, Law? Because we've been seeing these same issues 4 years ago, 8 years ago. You get what I'm saying? 12 years ago. None of those players that I just mentioned was here. 16 years ago, we've been having these same issues. And the people that follow this channel, y'all know better, right? But collectively, the people will look for someone to blame and say, hey, it's the quarterback. Hey, it's the running back. Hey, it's the wide receiver. Hey, it's everybody's issue. It's everybody's fault but the Jones family, right? I can't make this stuff up. But the reality of it is the fish rots from the head down, right? As above, so below. So if you have dysfunctions above, right, and if you don't have those things together, then eventually it will trickle down to the bottom end, and you will see the same things that's happening at the bottom level that's reflecting what's going on collectively above. And that's going to go over a lot of people's head, right? A lot of people say, nah, Law, we're one of the better franchises and better organizations in the world. But it comes to full circles when we can clearly see what's going on with this team and the things that's happening over and over again. But the Jones family and collectively, the NFL figure out how to allow the billionaires to have clean hands and for the fans to turn on the players and call the players. Y'all had the audacity to call the players, hey, man, those players, man, they greedy. Those players are greedy. And the billionaires can cash $111 billion check from Amazon, right? And go unscathed, uncalled out, right? Without a worry or a doubt. It can also squeeze the betting organization for $50 billion. And we're clamoring over, $240 million that every organization have to manage? And on top of that, to know that the money is not things that within the confines of, hear me out, the NFL because we just seen the Saints $55 million over the cap. Did they just sign someone today? Did the Saints just sign someone today? And they're $55 million over the cap. Let me know, can someone out-debate me on that? Did the Saints sign someone? And were the Saints over $55 million or right at $55 million over the cap? Over the cap. So I want y'all to know that these guys do what they want to do. There's no repercussions. There's no penalty for being over the cap. If they want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up their time, their peace, and their sleep for it, if all of their desires of it makes them quite mad enough, if you want to go out there and get it, you'll go out there and grab it. That's just what it is. But we will fall into the traps every time when you make it about the individual versus the collective. Now, this team heading into this offseason, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Could y'all do me a huge, huge favor? Hit that like button for me. Share this content while I pull this up. I thank y'all, too, for doing such. The Dallas Cowboys, from what it is, and here we go. All right. For what it is, yeah, hit that like button. What's good with you? Shout out to you, JT. Thank you for jumping in. Shout out to you, Coach Marv. And Matthew, what's up with you? Shout out to you. All right, so with that being said, enough beating up on the Joneses. We'll circle back to what he said earlier. But one of the things that I wanted to point out before I get too lost into this would be this right here. The speed factor and who helped themselves out in this particular category. We do know that the NFL itself is pretty much like the underwear Olympics around this time. The quarterbacks, the fastest quarterback out there was Anthony Richardson, Max Duggan, Malik Cunningham, as well as Dorian Thompson, Robinson. So those were your top five right there as far as the 40 time, if you were falling in love with the 40 time. And then we go to the running backs, A-Chain. I look at him anywhere between the second and third round draft pick. Where do you guys see Devon A-Chain going to? He's the fastest running back in this particular draft that ran and participated. A 4.32 speed ain't nothing to sneeze at. And, of course, you got Gibbs. You got Keaton Mitchell, who is pretty good, Chase Brown. And then I know a lot of people have been talking about Bijan Robinson, and he ran a 4.4. So he kind of put that mindset and that mode of in Ezekiel Elliott a little bit as far as his abilities there. The way he run or what have you. Not saying that the Cowboys will, but he is a 4-4 guy. All right, Cowboy Nation, I got a super chat from Coach Marv. Appreciate you so much, Coach Marv. Thank you for your support. Let's see what you have here. As far as that support, appreciate you. He says transitional. You got to put, in this modern day time, Coach Marv, man, you know how it goes, man. You got to use another word, though. You can't use trans. You got to spell it all the way out, man. Just put TT tag or something, man. You know what I'm saying? I just made it back, man. I don't want to get knocked on the door, man, just by saying trans, man. So I appreciate the donations, man. I thank you so much. But the transitional tag, man, because, I support all communities, but, man, I don't want that community to come after me, man. You know what I mean? But I get with what you said. The transitional tag will work best to get a deal with TP because it is a lower number and tell us where they are willing to go with money, $7 to $8 million a year. He wants to get more than that. Then the market is giving up picks. Then blah, blah, blah. I feel you. And Hyatt is not a 4-3 guy. This is from Coach Marv. I feel you, Coach Marv. I saw that I saw that. Hey, laughing man, hush your mouth over here, man. Hey, let me put the camera back on me. I feel you, Coach Marv. I feel you 1,000%, man. But here's the situation. If you go back and watch Jalen Hyatt 40 time, he was doing too much of this against his body. I think that if he could work with me, you know what I mean? Because I'm a 4-4 guy. And I can tell you, on a foot chase, back in my days, I was a 4-4 guy. He had too much wasteful movement. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't buy into the 40 time as much. But I can tell you, if you look at his stance, he was too high coming off of his release. Those first 4 to maybe 5 yards, he needed to still be down. He's a linear guy, so he will have to keep that head and that body weight and lean forward a little bit more off his release, and he was giving me too much left and right movements. I truly believe that the kid do have separation speed, and Jalen Hyatt, from what somebody, let's say Williams says, laugh out loud. Yeah, for real talk, man, 4-4 guy. Don't have me to pull out the tapes, man. You know what I mean? You probably have to blow them off. But you can tell that I was a 4-4 guy. No cap. I'm 40 now. I'm 40 now, so I can't run that fast anymore. I ain't a Darryl Green, dare I say. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably be a 4-8 guy now, though. You know what I mean? But to make a long story short, it seems as if, though, some of those guys coming off their stance and release, they needed to work on that. And you can see what I want out of the receivers is what they can do on the field, right? So that's just all I wanted to say. But I appreciate you, Coach Marv. You did call it out earlier this a couple of weeks ago about that speed or what have you. A-Chain, you can see that A-Chain is that dude that got that stop-and-go speed, and he is the fastest running back. But out of him, Gibbs, and Keaton, both of those boys, shoot, you ain't going to see them get caught if they get upfield. All right, so wide receivers. Trey Palmer, he looked pretty good for a 3-3 guy, you know what I mean? And then, who really intrigued me was this dude right here, Bryce Ford Wheaton. They put up his measurables. It was very similar to DK Metcalf or what have you, big, tall, vertical stretch wide receiver, someone that you can also tunnel screen and he can get upfield. I like his hands, by the way, Bryce Ford Wheaton. And then, of course, you see Jalen Hyatt down there just below Marvin Mims. So, hit the wrong button. All right, so you see all of that, y'all. Trey Tucker, Zay Flowers. And even Zay, he knew that he was going to be a 4-4 guy. But when you look, God, dog, keep hitting this button. Well, I guess we can't click on it now. But, at 5'9", 182 pounds, I truly believe what I liked about Zay Flowers, although he's 5'9", he's not the tallest of the tallest out there. What I do like is the fact that he put on those 10 to 12 pounds or what have you, and he didn't lose any speed. Those are one of the things that you will have reservations on. And my thing is with that would be, yeah, some of these guys do need a sandwich. You look at even my guy, Emmanuel Forbes or what have you, he need a sandwich. Jalen Hyatt, he need a sandwich, y'all. Regardless, if the Cowboys draft this dude, he better come with some sandwiches, Jalen Hyatt now, he's drafted with the Cowboys. He's going to need a sandwich, man. Some of these guys, and they need some more than some milk. They're going to need some sandwiches, man. But let me tell you, the tight end, James, y'all, I'm about to say James Washington, but Darnell Washington at 4'6'4", that ain't nothing to sneeze at as it relates to his height, his size, his measurables. That were pretty good. The DB class. Let me go back to the DB class. DJ Turner, I like what he brings to the table. I'm a little snake bitten with the Michigan DBs, but outside of Charles Woodson, maybe, just maybe, he could be that guy that can step up and stand tall. But a 4.26 40 time, man, that's fast. I would put him inside the slot right there, and then I would just tell Bland, just, hey, do your thing. Do your thing. Emmanuel Forbes, y'all know how I feel about him. Keely Ringo and Darius Rush. These two guys, Keely and Darius Rush, they fit the mold of what my guy likes to do, and that's Dan Quinn. So either one of these things, Jacorian Bennett, shout out to him, 4.3 guy. But Banks, I think that he helped his stock out tremendously, and I don't see him getting out of the second round. Somebody going to get this guy in the first round with their 4.35 speed, man, and his size and his measurables, man. It's just been remarkable for us, man, for the last shoot. Shout out to Maryland, man. Is Maryland the new, camp where you go find some guys that's scrappy, put first round grade on everyone from Mississippi. No, not first round grade from everyone from Mississippi. But what y'all try to say? Forbes ain't that dude. All right, let me go to DE. Nolan Smith, 4.39, just fast. When I look at these guys, I don't look at these guys as individuals. I look at them how they going to fit right in with what we already got. So I'm looking at Nolan Smith, man. Oh, my goodness, man. That will be remarkable. Man, my goodness. And then Byron Young, he looked pretty good, 4.4 guy. And let me go all the way down to this guy, Isaiah from Notre Dame. Shout out to him. I love his tape. Will Anderson. I look, roll tide. Roll tide, man. Some of these guys, if you're looking at what they can do as far as speed, rush, speed to power, they got all of those things. Let me go back to linebacker over here. You got Trenton Simpson, man. A lot of times you look at tape and you look at something and you say, is it transferable? Do you see that 4.4 speed on the field? And the immediate answer is, when you did your homework on Trenton Simpson, it's yes. And when we had Ashley Baker on the show, not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before last, she yelled out Trenton Simpson. A lot of you guys dogged her for it. And all I can say is, now y'all turn around and say, hey, man, let me give her flowers, because she was right on it with the money. But I do not want you guys to fall too much in love with the 40 time. Just use the 40 time to see whether or not it marries what you see on the field. The speed, the burst, the acceleration. Can you see a little bit of that? Although they may be a 4.5 or a 4.6 guy, but when the lights turn on, it appears that they are that 4.4 guy or that 4.3 guy. And then sometimes you'll have a 4.3 guy, but when the lights turn on, they turn to 4.6, 4.7 guys, right? Bryce Butler. I ain't trying to throw any shade or salt at him, but he was a 4.3 guy, but you rarely saw that 4.3 speed, if I can make any sense out of it, right? So Vivian White says, get a real quarterback. Dak is not that guy. That's a good transition. I appreciate you so much. Let's talk about Rain Dakota Prescott. But before we go into that, there was a guy that I value his assessment around the NFL, and his name is Mike Lombardi. He was on 105.3 The Fan, and what I want to do is I want you guys to listen to what he have to say. You don't have to agree with him. Just listen, and then we'll piggyback back and forth off of those things.
Why should Cowboy fans not freak out over what Mike McCarthy had to say? Why did you love it?
To me, it was the most ridiculous interpretation by most of the national media. I mean, one guy went on there and, analytically said that this is, he does to know that. People don't understand flow of the game, how to manage the game. What Mike said was probably the best thing that's come out of Dallas in a long, long time. He wants to manage the game. Kellen Moore, the reason I call him joystick is because he's in his basement in Des Moines playing as if there's nobody else. And there is a pace to the game that must get established. There's football's a game of three levels, right? In the first quarter, it's about assessment. Did we have the right game plan? Are we doing what we thought we could do? The second and the third quarter are about adjustments. The fourth quarter stands alone. And so when you're in that situation, you want to know, okay, how do I play less how do I work this so that my defense is off the field? I think the perfect example was, and one of the worst plays in Cowboys tenure this year was 1st and 10, ball at the 18-yard line, 3:05 to go in the game against the 49ers. You go on that field, and if you understand that you have to manage the game correctly, you know that you can't punt the ball back to San Francisco. You can't. You cannot do that because their punter is the best punter inside the 20. So not only will you'll get the ball back, but you'll have no timeouts and you'll have to go 90 yards, which is exactly what happened. So when you walk on the field and you're the play caller in that situation, you say, look, I got to get positive yards on first down. I got to get positive yards on second. We're going to convert third down.
Right.
We got to get this drive going. We throw 3 passes and punt the ball back. And because there's no understanding of game management, flow of the game. And so naturally we get the ball back with no timeouts and inside the 20, and we can't do anything with it. McCarthy wants to manage the game. That's all he was saying. Now, I don't think he used the right verbiage. I want to run the damn ball. He wants to pace the game, understand how you do that. And I think ultimately he should. And Moore, whose job is to get first downs and score points, did that. And so,
well, granted, this it's still Prescott's fault. Now, I'm not saying that, the interceptions that he throws goes to Kellen Moore, right? It goes against this team. And what I'm saying is you got to, as a manager, number one thing as a manager is getting work done through others. You won't be able to get your business administration degree without understanding those type of things. Management can also be a great tool if you know how to delegate, right? So delegating responsibilities should be the number one resources. But when you have a dysfunction, right, and you got your hands tied and your hands behind your back, and it's forcing you not to be able to manage the game a certain way because you got the political football in the building, it becomes even harder to just lay out your plan, lay out your philosophy. Law, do you have any concrete evidence to this? Yes. A couple of years ago, many a moons ago, basically, I believe it was the year of 2006, the Dallas Cowboys reached out and they pulled in a guy that was 33 years of age, and his name was Terrell Owens. The head coach didn't want Terrell Owens on his team. Why? It's not that Terrell Owens was not a dynamic player, didn't have the ability, didn't have X, Y, and Z. But the problem is that when you think about it, it creates chaos. It creates this right here. It creates a situation whereas, or it could have been 05, 06. I'm thinking it was more of the lines of 06, right? But neither here nor there. You see, the front office, they would go out and make a move like that and say, hey, coach it, elevate it even more. And it derails your whole process because you have a system and a scheme in place that didn't warrant it, that skill set of a player. So now you are forced to do something that you don't want to do. And this has been the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys for a long time. They like to force players. They like to force, and I know somebody yelling, hey, man, there's 31 other teams that do the same. No, but not to this degree. They like to force things for a political reasoning. And it relates to you'll be able to see those things on the field. Go highs and lows, because there's no level of consistency. There's no level of, hey, this is what this team do. When you destroy the identity and when you destroy the things that put into place, you begin to see the inconsistency because the coaching staff can't lay out their philosophy because it's being tainted from above. Law, how long have I been saying Kellen called plays but did not know how to control the tempo in the game. You're right, Coach Marv. And those are the situations because we didn't get a chance to see Big Mike McCarthy say, hey, man, let's not do these things this way. Why? Because if Mike McCarthy would have went in, snatched the playbook from Kellen Moore and called Kellen Moore's systems and schemes or what have you, then it would be this right here. There's 48 laws of power. And one thing that you don't want to do is outshine the person that's over you. And Mike McCarthy knew that if I were to be able to call out the Joneses and let them know that their grandson now, Kellen Moore, their baby, the joystick, don't know what the hell he's doing, is going to be a slap in their faces. Sometimes when you're right, you got to be wrong. And sometimes when you're wrong, you got to be right. I think it was A White Man Can't Jump. Rosa Perez, I believe that's her name, right? She said, sometimes you win, but you lose, and sometimes you lose, but you really win. Y'all go watch that movie. Yes, we all know that Tony Pollard got hit with the franchise tag. Yeah, and it's official today.
Somewhere there's got to be an in-between.
I agree with that. I mean, there is a flow of the game. There's no doubt. And I agree. Some of the verbiage he used was probably not the best. My thing has always been this idea that it rests the defense. The run-first 49ers ran on average 4 plays less than the Cowboys did this year per game. Nobody's getting extra rest on 4 plays, right?
No, but it's pace of the game, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to understand the best way to play defense in the NFL today, because of the way they've set up the rules, is what? Play less defense. Yeah. Right? I mean, so if you play 32 minutes of defense a week, you're playing a lot more defense. If you play 28, you're playing less. Playing less defense, playing from in front, controlling the pace of the game, being able to understand the middle eight, managing the middle eight correctly. All these things Joystick couldn't do. He just kept calling plays. Hey, I'm going to call more passes. I got more passes to call. And never playing within the flow. And it became really a computer game, and it drove me crazy. And this is where Parcells was so brilliant. If Sean Payton didn't spend the 2 years and 3 years in Dallas with Parcells, he wouldn't have been the head coach that he is today because he understood what I'm talking about. This is what the key to the game is. Remember, it's 3 dimensions. It's offense, defense, and the kicking game. And if you don't have those in alignment, you're not going to win games that matter.
All right, so let me talk about this again. When you cheating on a test, and especially if it's a test that requires numbers, and you fool around and don't have those cheat notes and don't have the ability to explain how you got your answers, even if you got the right answer, when you don't know it, it is still wrong. It is flat out wrong when you can't show your work. And the Cowboys been cheating. The Cowboys don't have the ability to show their work. So they get mad at everyone but the absolute problem. And the problem is Jerry Jones and the front office. I get it. They're office furniture. You can't get rid of them. When we talk about the franchise tag for Tony Pollard, the official news of him signing this franchise tag, this would make it our 7th year in a row utilizing the franchise tag in some shape, form, or fashion. Or it could be our 6th year in a row. The problem is with this is, yes, it helps. It helps. It helps. You can now corner a person to signing a deal, right? Because, they're going to sign it. Who's going to turn down the money? Not many. Now, you can corner that person so that they can sign said deal and you will have them on your team. But the problem is that now you can't prorate the money. You can't spread out the money. You can't do X, Y, and Z things with the money because it's a one-off thing. It appeases some of the fans that's not aware, because some people are just casual fans. They don't even know anything about the cap. They just know when it's September, it's time to watch their Cowboys play. And they listen to everything that the front office say as it relates to it being gold, right? So they look at the Cowboys in general and say, hey, why they're not getting it done? And the short answer would be, hey, it's the quarterback. But the long answer would be, hey, it's the way that you guys designed and set up. And the problem is with this, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you guys are going to look at it, yes, it's good. Now the Cowboys signed this $10 million deal. It should be an $11.2 million deal, I think, when all of the numbers come around, right? And not understanding that the whole point of the franchise tag is so that you can hold that person, so that you can have the conversations to see whether or not you can come up with some type of an agreement with the salary, with the contract, and if you can't come up with the agreement, at least you have them for 1 year. But what the Cowboys operate is that their operation, they go and they franchise tag the person, and 9 times out of 10, the person look at it and say, hey, whatever contract that you guys are throwing at me, I might as well take the $10 million, because you're not showing me that you are valuing me, and you are willing to say, let me play on 1 year for $10 million. The problem is with this is, if hear me out. Even if Tony Pollard give you the floor of what he did last year, the price of that bag is not going to go down. It's going to go up. And even if he drops off and get injured for 3 to 4 games, hear me out. Now you're going to hold his feet to the fire and say, well, he's less than. But that's a $10 million hit collectively that you can never get back. So that's why it would be even better if you sit Tony Pollard down and design a plan for 2 to 3 years, and you can now have a less blow of $10 million hit from your cap. I would rather spread out for 2 years a $6 million deal, right? Juxtaposed to a $10 million hit all at once. Because what will happen here is that, of course, today's price is not the same, but what I'm trying to say is this right here. Next year, the money itself organically for the cap is going to do this number.
Do you think any of this is an indictment on Dak Prescott? You know, they're not saying this in Buffalo. They're not saying this in Kansas City. Is this an indictment on Dak? Hey, we need to take the ball out of your hands a little bit. We need to run it maybe a little bit more.
I didn't take that. I took that this is about pace of the game and game management. Look, we know this. Every quarterback has to be managed. It's not a sin to say that, right? They all have to be managed. They all have to do what they do best. And you're going to have to run. I mean, you don't want Dak Prescott throwing it more than 35 times. Now, you might have to do that in some games, but no quarterback's good at doing that. I mean, especially when you're getting hit, the protection breaks down. I mean, let's go back to the 49er game. The 2-minute warning comes, okay? Here's another perfect example of pace of the game. The 2-minute warning, we've got them stopped. Pollard just got hurt, okay? Now, what do we want to accomplish here? We want to score points, but we also don't want to give San Francisco a chance to get the drive to start to come back and score points at the end of the half. So what do? We throw a pass on first down naturally, because that's what we do. We're in the basement. We're in Des Moines. We're calling pass plays. We're playing Madden. But if we run the ball there and we milk the clock and take that 40-second clock all the way down, we're reducing the game. We're reducing the game to set up our situation so that we're like a pool player. We're going to make this shot, and we're going to set the cue ball up for another shot. But naturally, we don't do that. We throw the interception. We blame Dak. I blame the play call. That should have been a run, a screen, some control pass so that the clock works for us. Do you understand what?
Man, this dude's spitting all type of facts, right? Like, we talk about options and choices, and there's no way that you can say, well, these options are good. A gun, a knife at the dinner table with your kids. It's just not a good choice. especially if they're 5 or 6 years of age. And what the Cowboys continuing doing is putting the gun and the knife at the kitchen table saying, hey, play with your toys, or let's go play in traffic. Those are things that will occur over and over again, some type of accident. Now, when you come in with a plan, a decisive decisions on how you're going to attack a team, making a team play left-handed, forcing the team to think about how they're going to stop a certain thing. This is how the game should be played. But unfortunately, we've been playing football for only the entertainment piece, only to light up the scoreboard, only to have certain things that people can look back on and say, hey, look at us, look at us.
What I'm saying, the clock needs to work for us.
Yes. Do you agree overall that shortening a game, just overall, gives the lesser team more of a chance?
No, I don't. I'm not talking about shortening the game. I'm not talking about playing pen basketball in the 70s and running 4 corners and dribbling around until the 45-second clock got invented. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pacing the game. I'm talking about understanding that your opponent – football is a unique sport because not only do you have the opponent across the field, the clock is also your opponent, and it can be your friend or your ally. And if you don't incorporate that into your thinking, then you end up being really short. And I'm not talking about playing slow. I'm talking about pacing the game.
No doubt. So here's the 1,000 truths. And let me see if I got it right here. Boom. Calvin Watkins, he did do just that. Bam. Let me bring this all the way to full circles. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to go right here. And we're going to pull up our Twitter if I can. My Twitter down. Hold on. Bear with me. Because these are the things that we all have to consider when we talking about just this in general. Give me 1 second here. Boom. More than one way to skin a cat. Here we go. Got too many Twitter pages open. Boom. Boom. Here we go. There were hopes Tony Pollard would reach a deal with the Cowboys to avoid the tag, but it won't happen for now. So it will be the $10 million franchise tag for Pollard. The sides have until July to work out an extension. What I'm telling you guys is the Cowboys had all of last year when Tony Pollard had a torn fasciitis on his feet or his foot to really negotiate, because at that point he would have been his lowest at his point to work out a long-term deal. Now, when you wait for end of life, and I'm telling you guys, even if you are dealing with anything with contracts in general, never wait till the contract becomes end of life if it's something that you really want, because what will happen is that everything about that said contract will double its price because you waited for it to get to the end of life of its contract. Now, granted, whatever you needed to see out of Tony Pollard last year, your evaluation team should have already uncovered that. They should have already knew about those type of things about Tony Pollard's game. But now they waited to the end of life, and everything as far as the price of Tony Pollard will increase. And if you don't, and if you allow him to play on that franchise tag, and what will happen again is that we will be at the same spot once again, talking about the money. And the issues would be still based upon the players and not the ownership on how things were wedded. Far as look, for example, Dalton Schultz on the open market last year. Do you think that he was going to really get north of what Dallas Goedert got? Do you think that on the open market that even Dalton Schultz last season would have received what Travis Kelce and company gotten, basically? Because of David Njoku's hit, of course, that was $13 to $14 million, right? Dalton Schultz's numbers were better than his, and they were very comparable to Dallas Goedert. The problem is that, hey, I don't think that a team would have been willing to pay that for Dalton Schultz. Let the man test the market, and when everything come back to you, what you could have done with the money was still sign him to a two-year deal. If at minimum, you could have signed him to the Dorrance Armstrong type of deal. A 2-year deal would have been cheaper than the $10 million overall cap hit that you had to take last year. On top of that, even if you'd have let him test the market, he probably would have came back even cheaper. He probably would have been, anywhere between $4 to $7 million. But now you took that hit, and what happened here is that a lot of people refuse to understand what you could have done with that money. With that money, it was enough money to even go get a Bobby Wagner. It was enough money to even go get a more of a quality of branded wide receiver juxtaposed to a James. Y'all say it with me. Washington. But the problem is that a lot of you guys have the Mandela effect, right? And y'all would think that, hey, none of this happened before. It only happened under these last few years, watch. Law, let me bring this up for y'all that don't have the mindset to go all the way back. But this was the Cowboys many a moons ago talking about the same thing. Let me pull this audio up.
Goes double for the state's true passion, football, which means if you own the Dallas Cowboys, you don't own just a team. You own America's team. And you don't build just a stadium. You build the biggest in the land. In Texas, you dream big. And in the mind of Jerry Jones, that means a 4th Super Bowl ring. This year, with a healthy quarterback behind center and the new season ahead of him, his hopes are high. But that's how he felt when we first met him last year. That year, the team was celebrating its 50th anniversary, and he was hosting the Super Bowl at Cowboy Stadium. But there was one thing the 68-year-old Jones had not imagined. His team would not be in the championship. We followed the high-flying Jones through...
Hold on. Before we go into this is Dak Prescott's fault. This is Dak Prescott's fault. By the way, for those who are out there wanting to know whose fault this is Rain Dakota Prescott. Does this sound similar? Let's listen. Let's listen to what he has to say.
What turned out to be a season from hell. Winning is a lot more fun, but losing reveals more of a man's character, especially when he's the most innovative, controversial, and bombastic owner in the NFL. How warm and sunny the future felt last August as the Cowboys walked through the last snaps of training camp. Even here in California, fans throng the sideline to touch the Cowboys star.
Absolutely, baby. Oh, you're the man.
Jerry Jones is the only owner who is also a celebrity, and he's one of only 3 owners who actually runs his team. Jones is the general manager. He picks the players, hires the coaches, runs the business.
Right.
He earned 3 Super Bowl rings doing that, and last preseason, he told us how he liked his chances of slipping on a 4th. What do you see out here?
One of the best teams on paper that I've been associated with in 22 years.
How often don't we hear that every year? Don't we hear that every year? Don't we, look, can somebody say, nah, Lord, I never heard that before. You know what I mean? One of the best teams I've seen on paper. You know, come on, y'all. Come on. But this is the quarterback's fault. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the best teams I've seen on paper. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know. Is this one of the best teams they seen on paper? Yeah, no. Come on, y'all. But some of y'all got amnesia, so it's time for Law to open up your minds again, to peel back the scabs, and all of the wounds, and I'm finna pour some alcohol on it right now. Oh, by the way, number 1 in offense and number 4 in defense. But y'all will tell me, Law, the Cowboys never had a top number 1 offense and the top 5 defense. Let's listen to what good old Jerry and what he gonna say about that and everything.
Good, here they come. All right, come on, man. Come on now, let's go, man. Come on.
Let's go, big boy.
But as the season unfolded, no high hopes could defeat the picks,
Over the middle, intercepted.
the fumbles,
The sideline fumbles the football.
the rotten breaks.
Tony Romo's flat on his back, and he was blasted.
You had the number 1 offense in the league, the number 4 defense in the league. Why can't you get the ball past the pylon?
He about to say it's Dak Prescott. He's the fault. He's the reason why. You know what I mean? I can't make this stuff up. You know, somebody, you know what? I'm going to take this video and I'm going to repurpose it. I'm going to cut it up and I'll put, hey, man, it's the quarterback fault.
Stats are for losers. They relish in them. The stat is the score. And when you don't win that score, nothing good happens. It's a bottom line game. Have we gotten too full of ourselves? Possibly.
You were the best general manager in the league in 1992. You were the best general manager the next year. You were the best general manager 2 years after that. Mm-hmm. What happened to that guy?
He's still there. He's very much here. I think he's smarter than he was then. I know he's more experienced. That guy's getting a real going over and a real looking at during the season that we're having right now, and he should be.
George Steinbrenner was a great friend of yours.
He was. He's someone I really admired.
If you were Steinbrenner's GM, he might have fired you by now.
Of course he would have.
You think
There's
so?
no doubt in my mind that he would have.
Intercepted.
Last October, high in his private perch in Cowboy Stadium, Jones looked like a parent watching his child dart through traffic. It isn't a game, it isn't a business, it's his life.
There's a certain edge to you.
He trolling him now.
What you're seeing right now is agony.
The agony.
Agony that ended with Jacksonville 35, Cowboys 17. The general manager took the hit.
Jerry, are you embarrassed?
Are you embarrassed?
Yes, I'm embarrassed. Of course I am. And very sorry to our fans. I've never been more disappointed. I've never been more surprised.
You broke a sweat in there. I've never seen you sweat before.
Give him some milk.
I think it's time to sweat.
In the perch post-game, he was wrung out.
And I'm making a big F or a D minus. So maybe this butt kicking I'm getting will produce some B's or A's.
It's got to be somebody's fault.
Well, it's mine. It is mine. The way this thing is structured, it's mine.
Is it time to step away from being manager of the team?
Well, if it is, then it was time to step away 22 years ago because it was the very same thing, the criticism of coming in.
All right, I'm going to stop right there, boy. Ooh, I might chop that one up when I have some more time. But, man, you know, Jerry, if you step down and allow some football guys to be in the room, man, and you just sit back, I promise you, you will get all the credit, and you will be like we were 30 years ago, Jerry.
I ain't trying to be like 30 years ago. I ain't trying to make no comeback.
What?
I'm gone, and I want to stay gone.
Why you want to stay gone, Jerry? Come on, man. You know, you just sit back. You know what I mean? But it would not change. And the same expectations on this team were there then, right? I can't make this stuff up. So what we are doing is we are pretty much in purgatory, neither heaven nor hell. We just right in that spot. Sometimes we move over this spot, and then it's kind of warm over here, man. Hey, man, you close to the hell part. Can't you slide over this way, man? The heaven part is a little bit over here. At least there's a cool breeze over here in this area, man. So that's where we are at as Cowboy fans. You know, they bought the team financially. We only bought the team in emotionally. We can't change nothing. You know, we can yell to the high heavens and give them facts, but he's literally looking down upon us saying, hey, this is my team. This is my team. And that's just what it is, man. That's a real good interview, and it may be repurposed on multiple channels in a few. But let's listen to the rest of what Michael Lombardi had to say.
We're talking here with former NFL GM Michael Lombardi, host of the GM Shuffle podcast. Michael, when you look at McCarthy taking over this offense, and you know we've heard estimates of 30 to 35% is going to change. Given what you know about Mike McCarthy, your thoughts on Kellen Moore, what would be your biggest concern for Cowboys fans in this transition to McCarthy? Like, what's the biggest thing the Cowboys fans might have to worry about McCarthy running the offense?
You know, I don't. I mean, look, McCarthy's won a Super Bowl with Green Bay. I missed Kellen Moore's Super Bowl win. I must have missed that. I don't know. Where was I? Was out. I must have been in Utah. I mean, like, I missed this, right? Like, you guys talk like you're talking about replacing Sid Gilman or Clark Shaughnessy. I mean, what he's going to do is pace the game. He's going to run more of what he wants to run. I never understood why he went to Dallas to not call plays.
Right.
He won a Super Bowl calling plays. You can say he's not a great play caller. Well, he won a Super Bowl doing it. So he's going to manage the game. The head coach has to have a connection to the quarterback. He's got to be able to demonstrate the game through the quarterback. I think it's going to be critical. I don't see it as a downfall. I see them, they have to be physically offense. I mean, they're going to re-sign Pollard. You know that. I've been screaming for 3 years. Zeke Elliott, everybody complained about Linehan. Zeke Elliott was averaging 10 yards a catch when Linehan was there. When the joystick got in town, he's down to 5. You know, we're not throwing the ball to the back. He was a really good receiver coming out of the backfield. Now that.
Oh.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Hey, look, you know what I mean? So, hey, I get it, right? 2019, 2020, 2021, Ezekiel Elliott numbers went down. But Michael Lombardi just literally said what I've been saying for the last few months and weeks here. You know what I'm saying? Let's just for those who had to go use the restroom and come on back, let me rewind it just for a few seconds here and listen, Linda, listen.
To demonstrate the game through the quarterback. I think it's going to be critical. I don't see it as a downfall. I see them, they have to be physically offense. I mean, they're going to re-sign Pollard. You know that. I've been screaming for 3 years. Zeke Elliott, everybody complained about Linehan. Zeke Elliott was averaging 10 yards a catch when Linehan was there. When the joystick got in town, he's down to 5.
The joystick.
You know, we're not throwing the ball to the back. He was a really good receiver coming out of the backfield. Now, that has changed because he's no longer the same athlete that he once was.
True.
And maybe he can get that back. But the reality of it is they've got to incorporate their weapons within everything they do. Pollard's a weapon. He's not a running back. He's a weapon.
Exactly.
Michael, what else do you see as an off-season team need? Cowboy fans, they call Stephen Jones Cat Boy. They're mad that he's cheap. They don't go out with a big splash. Jerry was talking about Odell the other day. We got Jalen Ramsey trade rumors. We got another crack maybe at Bobby Wagner. Who is a big name fit that you would like to see the Cowboys sign, if any?
All right, before he go, let me just say this again. The Cowboys, this is on 105.3 The Fan. I'll share the link when this is all said and done. Be sure to check them out and follow their content. Brilliant organization. I would say this right here. The big splash may be, if I'm a betting man, may be Odell Beckham. And that appears to be the angle, whereas they will bring him in. That will give Odell Beckham juices going from everywhere, from left and right, whatever jersey he wears or what have you. It will go crazy. Is DeAndre Hopkins a good look for us? Maybe, but I don't see that the Cowboys would entertain that. I think either the Kansas City Chiefs or the Patriots may scoop up him, and we may be left on the outside. You know, who we may get a guy. You know, we may bring up a James Washington again and say, hey, under this system and under this philosophy, he's going to be better than what he was last year. That's just the way and the flow of the Cowboys, unfortunately. Catboy, what you gonna do? All right, Jerry Jeudy or Brandon Smith. Brandon, what's Brandon's last name? Not Brandon Smith. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy would be my guy. You know, not Brandon. You know, the Brandon guy. What's his last name? I'm coming off a vacation. Brandon Cooks. Yeah. I'm about to say. All right, Brandon Cook. There's some guys in this draft, man. You know, there's some guys in this draft. When you look back at it, I would rather, you know. But the Jerry Jeudy kid is somebody that I would love to bring in, you know.
I mean, Bobby Wagner was once a great player, but remember when, as Tony Soprano once said, it's the lowest form of conversation, okay? So when you are no longer good, you can stop bringing up the name. I mean, Bobby Wagner wouldn't have been released twice if he was still playing at a high level. Look, Ramsey's a really good player, makes $17 million a year.
With him on that
you know, he would be a really great addition alongside of Diggs, but can they afford him in their cap? And I understand he wants more money, but I think he would be a tremendous player. I think what they've done a good job is Will McClay is a really good personnel guy. They get good players. I mean, Pollard just didn't show up because he liked the star. I mean, they get good players on that team. They do a good job of procuring talent there, and they have a talented team. Now they have to play within itself, and they got to play together. But I think to me, they've got to continue to rebuild that offensive line.
True.
I think that's going to be the key. You know, they can't count on Smith staying healthy all the time. What are they going to do at right tackle? Where are they going to be inside? I think that's the key. Look. Does anybody know if Odell can still play? We talk like Odell's still the Odell that made the catch against the Cowboys in Giant Stadium. I mean, I haven't seen him play. He's coming off of a second ACL. How good do you think he's going to be?
You're a GM who gets to pick between these two for the next.
Man, shout out to you, Matt. He says, Law, the big signing is going to be Noah Brown. It may be, you know what I mean? It may be. Breaking news, the Cowboys now signed Noah Brown for a re-up, baby. All right, man. This is my thoughts on what he said about Bobby Wagner. I think that he was off on a little bit on that. Look, Bobby Wagner, even if you would like to say, hey, man, the dude is washed, give me some of that washed stuff there. 6 sacks, 2 INTs, led the team in solo tackles as well as total tackles over there in L.A. If you pick those numbers up and put them over here, he would have led the team in tackles over here. Give me that type of washed player there. You know, give me that washed Bobby Wagner. Give me that washed up player there then. Keep sullying and denigrating the man's name. Now, what I will say from this mindset would be, don't rush into the Bobby Wags. That'd be the good thing. As far as these veteran guys that's up over 30, you might want to take your time and wait till after the draft, for crying out loud. Then you can go into that wave of being aggressive in the free agent from that aspect of it. I see nothing wrong with that. Think about this, Cowboy Nation. When you're going into the free agent period, there are 3 waves of it. Before the draft wave of free agency, and then after the draft wave of free agency, and then right before the final phases of free agency will be when they get down to cut down time as it relates to maybe the second preseason game. That'll be the final wave. I would tell you, you get your best crop of free agency, in my opinion, a little bit far as value is literally after the draft. Now, when it's before the draft, you will dive into a free agent period, meaning that, hey, this is a guy that I absolutely love, that I know for sure. Now, those guys are going to be a higher price tag because the market just not opening up and everything is higher on the market. But the longer you sit on the market, the drops of free agency as far as value goes down. But here's the thing. The Cowboys, what they do is that A-list celebrities or A-list free agent tier, they don't even look that way. They don't even look that way. But I believe if we can find the middle of the road with this, because the Cowboys do a wonderful job as it relates to drafting. They do a wonderful job of finding talent. But the problem is, and I think that we all can agree to disagree or find a middle road right here, is we just don't take the risk in free agency, right? Like the one risk that we're looking for. We're not asking the Cowboys to go sign 5 or 6 guys out of the free agency. We're telling the Cowboys, just utilize one. Just go after one good fish, right? And that's the problem with the Cowboys front office. They don't know how to leverage it, and they lean on Will McClay a little too much. And when we talked about free agent moves, because when I was on vacation, all I heard was, hey, Dak is the problem. Ford is the problem. He's the reason why we didn't go out and utilize money on X, Y, and Z. And then people call all over Twitter the Cowboys out on their BS because he wasn't a big cap hit until this season. He haven't been a huge cap hit until now. And shout out to A to Z Sports Dallas. They come up with this beautiful visual overlay to validate what I'm talking about. Notable free agent signing between 2016 and 2021. You had in that earlier part of 2016, Alfred Morris, Benson Mayowa, who been a wonderful job for us, got 6 sacks in that 1 year. Nolan Carroll, he got here, and I'm telling you, over there in the colony, man, shoot, them roads look weird, man. He got a DUI driving the wrong way on the wrong side of the of the highway. We were like, Nolan Carroll. Stephen Pyer, Coney Ely, y'all remember that? Thank you for tuning in to the Law Nation Film Session as we take a bigger look at Coney Ely, Cedric Thornton, that's the ex-Eagles guy, remember him? George Iloka, Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb was pretty good for us. Kerry Hyder, we played around with him. We liked him. We developed him a little bit. He improved, and we sent him off to the 49ers land. Had a phenomenal year there. Big Tavon Austin, you remember that? I don't think literally you win a playoff game without Big Tay. You don't win a playoff game in 2018 versus the Seattle Seahawks. Go look at what he was able to do in that kickoff return or punt return. Was able to change and flip the field for us. But a lot of people forgot about that. Jameis Olawale, who remember him? Jameis Olawale, baby. That was a big-time move for us, man. You know, we had some good views off of showcasing that video to most of you all. You remember that. Let's go pull this up. Jonathan Cooper. They folded that brother up like a wallet, boy, on that offensive line. I remember him. Yes, then Everson Griffin, Andy Dalton. That was big news for us, right? A third of you guys were like, bring in anybody. Bring in anybody, y'all. Oh, my gosh, Andy Dalton. He is better than Dak Prescott. He is smart. He's cerebral, right? He could take us to the Super Bowl. Y'all, I remember y'all comments. Y'all was like, literally, Andy Dalton, you see what he did? He goes through his progressions. He know how to read defenses. What happened to good old Andy? Oh, come on, y'all. What happened to Andy Dalton? Where y'all Andy Dalton troops at now? You know what I'm saying? I can't find y'all, man, you know? But see, when we tell y'all things, y'all will sit there and say, nah, man, you just hating, Law. You know, Andy Dalton, he just never had this type of team around him. And now I can't find one person that will stand tall and stand on that table for Andy Dalton. But when he was out here wearing the number 14, look at me, looking sharp out there on the sidelines, you know, look good in the uniform, by the way. I can't find y'all Andy supporters now. Y'all done folded up like a wallet in a lunch. Y'all don't even call in no more. But the great Law over here, I don't forget, you know. Come on, man. Jason, what's up, man? Don't you speak on Darnell Washington. I just seen that he did it at the combine compared to the tight end. The other tight end, she's neat. Yes, it did. Didn't you speak on, yeah. I think you saying, didn't you? And yeah, Darnell Washington, yeah, he was looking good, man. Matt says, I know it's sad, but JJ is a bad businessman, Law, you know. Yes, indeed, you know. Don't sully and denigrate Andy Dalton, baby. Andy Dalton got sacked, you know. And all the offensive linemen was like, you know, credit to them, you know. Nobody went over there and talked to Andy and said, hey, man, let's pick this man up off the ground, man, you know. Andy! I thought you was the Red Rifle, man. I didn't see nobody pick you up when you was on the ground. You know, what's up, Andy? You the legend, man. All right, and what else on this list, man? Shout out to A to Z Sports Dallas, man. Dallas Worley of the Worlds, man. Shout out to him. He was on the late night hype with us, man. Shout out to him. Alden Smith, Dontario Poe, Roll Tide, Clinton Dix. Appreciate him. Those boys didn't live up to any of the things that we was talking about as far as those signings, right? At least this was into the new era when you saw at least my guy, Big Mike, you know. And then J-Ron Curse, he was a good pickup for us. DeMonte KZ, he was a good situation for us. He was better than what we had the previous years as relates to those safety spots. And then you had Malik Hooker, Brent Urban, you know, who got snapped up. And then Carlos Watkins, Keanu O'Neal, and Terrell Basham. These were all notable signings. And the list is even more horrid in the 15 and 14 and 13 years or what have you, 2000, years or what have you. But it is what it is. Will Lean, yes, we already covered the fact that they signed Tony Pollard to their franchise tag. But what I'm trying to uncover here, some of the issues that we've seen with the Cowboys in their front office, they would rather have, instead of focusing in on just one or two guys, they would rather bring in somebody like me or something. You know, I'll go run a 40, put on some a helmet and some pads. They say, hey, man, this dude Law Nation, man, let's give him a shot, man. You know, let's give him a shot. He's 40. But, you know, who knows, man? Some good things making happen. You know? That's just how it goes. They would rather have 4 or 5 calibers of me versus getting that one good caliber of a star player that can help this team out in the long run.
3 years, same money. Dak or Hurts?
Well, look, it's a little different. You know, Hurts runs an offense that very few people can run. He's running a college offense. He's running a six-back offense. And, you know, we have not seen Hurts throw the ball. He did in the Super Bowl. We haven't seen him throw the ball to the level that Dak has thrown it. You know, what we've seen him do is run with it. And in this six-back offense, it's hard to handle. But I don't know how long the six-back offense can go, assuming he can stay healthy. I think that's got to be a real concern. When I talk about the six-back offense, I'm talking about the old-school single wing, where the quarterback was as much a part of the run game as anybody. And that's what Hurts is. Can he stay healthy doing that?
Hurts.
I think that's a huge concern if you are. I think Dak's a really good player. Is he overpaid? There's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt they overpaid him. He's not a $45 million. But no quarterback in the league, including Hurts, can carry a team. Hurts has really good yards after the catch receivers. A.J. Brown, that's one of the keys they did. So when you marry the scheme, you marry the players to the quarterback looks really good. When you don't, he doesn't.
Mike.
Whew. Oh, wow. The truth hurts, man. Oh, it do hurts, man. Truth hurts season. I'm going to reach out to my guy, Lord Brunson, and say, hey, man, yeah, it's hurt season, but can I modify the hat? Can I just put truth, Truth, the truth. Put T hurts, what the T stand for? Truth. The truth hurts, baby. He the truth. All right, neither here nor there. All right, the worth aspect of it. He said that Dak Prescott is not worth $40 million. And he literally saying that, hey, 45 to 50 million, most of these quarterbacks are not worth that money. Now, quarterback money is what it is. When you look back at the contract and how everything is orchestrated, he got paid for what the market was. The only problem is the Cowboys front office didn't allow the brother to test the market, right? So there's no true concept of how much a person is really worth because they never got a chance to see the open market. Now, he did get paid the market value just above that because when he was out there, his market value was at the time $36 million. and I did many episodes on this. We talk about players when you get to the end of life contract, and they're going to start comparing your stats and your numbers to the other guys that just got paid. For case in point, if you stay in a neighborhood and if the neighborhood says that in these neighborhoods, houses starting at $450,000, like the minimum starting for the house price is $450,000. You can't drive into that neighborhood and say, well, I'm going to get my house for $150,000. It's not going to work. Why? Because all of the housing or houses in that area is starting at $450,000. That's the starting rate. And if it's on an open market, then you may have some $450,000 and say, hey, I'm willing to purchase said house. But guess what? If I got $460,000 and I'm sitting here, well, I'm willing to pay $460,000 for it, right? And now we are in a battle. At the end of the day, before the house is sold to X, Y, and Z, it might sell at $500,000 because the rate went up because of the asking price and the demand for it, right? So what will happen here in that same, shout out to you, Matt. Thank you. Love the channel, Law. Hope vacation was good. It was really good. It was really good. Really good vacation, man. Really good. The kids love every minute of it. So what I'm saying is, when Carson Wentz got his bag and the other guy got his money, was Jared Goff when they got his money, when they got their money. The cheapest time to go get Dak Prescott below $40 million would have been to pay him before those guys got their money. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys waited too late. And the same how the housing market is the exact same way almost as the way the quarterback market is. So that's why he got paid what he got paid. And right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, right around the corner, Hurts going to have to get paid his coins. And Justin Herbert got to go get his coins. And if you are a Chargers fan, you're sitting there saying, I got to hurry and pay my quarterback before Jalen Hurts get his, before Joe Burrows get his. That's just the reality of it. And if you are an Eagles fan, you technically saying, hey, we got to hurry and pay him before those boys get theirs. That's just how it is, unfortunately. That's just basic math and marketing 101.
Michael, Anthony Richardson's now the odds-on favorite to be like the number one pick in some books after his combine weekend. We've seen coaches skip it. Belichick skipped it. The Packers weren't even there. What do you take from the combine at this stage?
Well, look, I thought when I first saw Anthony Richardson, I thought he'd be a first-round pick immediately. I didn't understand how he was playing behind the kid who transferred to Arizona State. Only Dan Mullen could figure that out. I couldn't. But I was TV scouting. I have no.
That's the link right there for 105.3 The Fan. You can listen to the full interview, Michael Lombardi, on that. I just posted the link in the chat area. Be sure to check those boys out. Great content over there. It's top of the hour, 12 o'clock. You guys know. But let's turn on the phone lines. Consistency is what we're looking for. Right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you all for being part of this episode. 657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Jay Lombardi, for putting that number down there. Appreciate everybody.
Son of God, not a son of Sam. Keep it off the books and keep it coming in.
2 participants in the conference.
See what I'm coming in.
Please announce yourself.
Caramel just like $100,000. Call my phone, hit my line.
See the inside caramel like $100,000.
Keep it super thorough my way.
We got the infamous, man, 803 Coach Marv. You're live. Talk to me.
Man, Law, it's good to have you back, man.
Yes, indeed.
Glad you enjoyed your vacation, man. I hope you went down my parts. It was beautiful weather down here. I know you. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad you're back. I got a couple of things I want to unpack there with you, man. This show has been outstanding, man. I love Jay Lombardi. Me and him need to be. We might be relatives some type of way because a lot of stuff he's been saying the whole time. I've been saying the exact same thing, but he's just talking common sense football.
Right.
One, the Tony Pollard thing.
Right.
And I'm gonna say it, the transitional tag.
Don't say the other word. Yeah. We'll go ahead.
Yes, the transitional tag. It's very important to know which type of tag that they're going to apply to him. The transitional tag will foster a deal fast. If they put the transitional tag on him, we will have a deal before July because of the fact the transitional tag, if my hearing is right, his that gives you the average of the top 10 players, not the top 5 in that position. So that will move his cap hit for 1 year around between $7.5 or $8 million. So that means that the Cowboys have already probably with his people has probably said that that's where their ceiling is with him in that area. And
well, Coach Marv, what type of tag did they put on Terrence Steele? Was that the transitional tag though?
No, that's a tenure tag.
Tenure tag.
The tenure. So what was a good thing about Terrence Steele, and with any player that you get that's an undrafted free agent that you get into your organization, they're kind of tied in to about 6 years with you without getting the big major contract because they can do a tenure tag on him again next year. Then after that, he's a total free agent that you can't do that anymore. So they tied a tender on him. So now if someone wants to sign, they have that right to first refusal to match the deal. Right. If they don't match the deal, they'll get a second round pick. Right. They could have went up to a first round tenure on him, but that would have
increased the price.
Put his salary around about $5 million. $5 million.
Now, I believe I read over that before. So my thing is, I don't like the tags basically, but I understand the tenure. Like if somebody willing to dance with that for a second round draft pick, then so may it be. You know what I mean? Far as
you got him for 2 years. You got him for 6 years. But see, that's the thing that hinders guys when you come in as an undrafted free agent. You ball out, and now teams got you stuck really for 6 years before people gonna really even try to go out there and try to make you that big money. But I think what they're gonna do with Terrence Steele, I believe the Cowboys are still gonna sign him to a deal, but it's probably gonna be an $8 to $7 million deal, for about 2 years, 3 years. He'll make good money, but he won't be making the money of the rate of the other great right tackle. So they got him in that spot. That same way they got hit that had Lyle Collins in that same spot as well. But with Tony Pollard, there's not going to be a team that's going to jump out there and give him $10 million a year and then have to give up the draft capital along with it. Right. So for his best interest is now for him to say, okay, let me take this maybe $6 to $7 million deal and get some guaranteed money where I can maybe guarantee $15 or $16 million off a deal. And I know I at least got that guaranteed for me instead of just being guaranteed this $7 to $8 million. That's not a good thing for a running back.
Right.
So I think that would foster a deal. A franchise, a tier 1 franchise tag, I wouldn't even go that way because now you're saying $10 million, $11 million. That was going to probably be his ceiling anyway, and now you kind of locked in on that with that. So but you can do that stuff with running backs, any other position. Quarterbacks, you really can't play that transitional tag thing because
right, you get somebody else going to match that.
Give us the draft capital. Yeah, they'll give us the draft capital because quarterbacks are harder to find.
Right.
So that's where I think we moving with Tony Pollard. The second thing I want to address is is that when we look at those free agents that you had pulled up, Law, and that we have gotten the last 4 years,
right?
And I'm about to for the first time in a while, but I'm about to get on the Jones side here on this. If you look at that free agent, all those guys that we say we picked up and we got for free agents,
right?
Those guys, if you look at each one of those years, those guys fit what those coordinators, the offense or the defense or coordinators wanted in their style. That's what they fit. If you look at them.
Well, when I look at these last two ones, like the one with Curse and the one with Everson Griffin, those were primarily more on the defensive side. Now, I get it, Andy Dalton for cheap. Well, it wasn't really that much of a cheap. They thought that they had something out of him, and they paid him good money for him for that 1 year deal. But outside of that, everybody on the defensive side, I understand that. I understand that philosophy.
Right, and then when you go back all the way back to the last of the Jason Garrett with Alfred Morris, that's a running back because Jason Garrett believed in running the football, and you look at some of the Randall Cobb because Kellen Moore wanted, they wanted to pass the ball. Trayvon Austin, even I think Garrett picked when they picked up the fullback there. All these trades were based off these guys. Now, what I'm saying what the Joneses do is that you listen. They're going to, in any organization, this works. And I believe this works is the same way in Dallas Cowboys organization as any other organization. When you go into this free agent year, right, because Jerry said something interesting about the tight ends. He said, about Dalton Schultz, he said, we are evaluating what the usage and how we're going to feature our tight ends based off if we're going to sign Dalton Schultz. When you go into this, you ask your coordinators two things. One, if we lose this player, if the guys that we got behind him, are they ready? Could we go out and have these guys come in and do the job? Two, how are you going to utilize, do you see the utilization of this guy is going to be great for your team? And if that's the case, we're going to find guys that can fit in our structure that you said that you think you can utilize.
You talking about front office to coach or right. Coach to front office? Well, here's my thing is with this. Here's my thing is with this. Sometimes you can appear, just to make it look good, you go grab a handful of free agent guys and say, hey, I did my job. We danced in free agency. But what I think that with the Cowboys fans and from what we can see is that we don't mind them making the moves in the free agency, but we want them to make a more calculated move on a more of a higher value version of that move versus getting me 3 or 4 guys that you try to convert us over to say, hey, he was that guy versus just going out there and just get the one guy, right?
Well, that's can say, but when like I said, with this the greatest team sport in football, one guy doesn't necessarily improve your team if you got other areas that are really lacking. You can't do anything about it. So you can go one guy and put all the eggs in that one basket, and then you can be like, well, now we hurting in 4 or 5 more areas, and that one guy, his potential is not going to be really seen because we're going to be hurting so many other places.
Well, the only reason why I was saying that is because how the Cowboys rock will be, hey, them going to go grab a James Washington was their battle cry to resolve the issues on the wide receivers part of it versus going out there and let's evaluate it a little bit more. Let's just go ahead and get that known commodity. You know what I'm saying, Coach? Like there were guys that you spend a little bit more, right? Go ahead.
This is where my next point coming in at. And this is why the Cowboys' decision about who runs this or who they actually make these decisions
right,
is very important. I truly believe in all my heart that Amari Cooper would have still been on this team if that was a Mike McCarthy decision about his offense. Yeah, I truly believe that some of the decisions that we made with our offense was invested into what Kellen said that he could do with the players that we brought in, or the players that we say we didn't need.
right. I see what you're saying with that.
So this what I'm saying. What I'm saying about with Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to Tony Pollard right quick.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard would have probably been signed to an extension when you saw his value if the coordinator felt that he was going to utilize Tony Pollard and the running game and Tony Pollard's skills, that if he felt that was valuable. But if he didn't feel it was valuable,
right,
that he didn't want to go that direction, well, why would we want to sign Tony Pollard to an extension when our offensive coordinator is really telling us, nah, we can do it with something else. We don't really need that. So now the EBT card is now in Mike McCarthy's hands. So all these moves that the Cowboys make in free agency and the type of guys that they pick up and the type of guys that they draft is going to be orchestrated by Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy on the offensive end and Dan Quinn on the defensive end, because Dan already had that autonomy in the last 2 years. We have seen his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah,
so
to that degree, I feel with what you're saying, but that would show also how idiotic this organization and franchise is when you leaning on a guy that's only been calling plays for 4 years to make the decisions out there. So that's a problem within his own self. And even if the front office is saying, okay, we trying to get rid of said guy like Amari Cooper, then there should have been somebody being an advocate, especially the person that's calling the plays in the room. Like, hey, dog, yeah, you can try to get rid of him. Hey, this is going to be X, Y, and Z issues. Unless that person is saying, hey, my system will work the same regardless. And I believe that's been an issue.
It goes back to, I know you got a lot of calls.
Yeah.
Just got back off. But I would say this. This goes back to what I've been saying for the duration. The talent is there, but you have to be. The Joneses have done one thing that they didn't do with everything else. When they had people that they trusted that were capable of people of putting players in the right situation and the right scheme to make them better, the Cowboys have won. But the Dave Campos, the Kellen Moores, and all these other guys that they entrusted and they entrusted their vision, they have come up short.
No doubt, Coach Marv, man. Hey, that's a good call from him, man. Y'all put your hands together for Coach Marv, man. Coach Marv. That's a good call from him. All right, so basically it goes back to my analogy. It doesn't matter if I got a Ferrari, a Porsche 911 in the backyard, right? It doesn't matter. If I give those keys to my toddler, it doesn't matter what all of the cars can do. You know what I mean? She would not know how to drive it. And the Cowboys been in that pickle. We've got the talent. We have since 2010 the most all pros, I think, in the National Football League since that time frame. They've been voted all pro. There's not even Pro Bowls, right? So when we are top in that class, we are top in the talent level of gathering some of the talent. But utilizing said talent, we haven't been. I've seen somebody say, well, hey, for 7 years, for 7 years, you know what I'm saying, we haven't made it to the divisional round or be out of the divisional round or et cetera. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we got to contextualize everything. I got my guy Darius from the 214. You live.
Oh, so you come? Okay. So first of all, I want to tell you, man, your draft analysis on Saki Aki, superb.
I thank you.
Phenomenal. That guy right there, man. We gotta get him. I don't know what round he gonna go in, I'm thinking maybe perhaps third or second, but I really love him. The other guy I want to tell you about, your boy Emmanuel Forbes. I want to tell you, I did my homework on him. Now, he light in the ass.
He light, yeah.
He's extremely light in the ass.
Yeah.
I think give him about 3 to 4 years, and he can possibly be Josh Norman. Now, I'm not talking about the Derrick Henry stiff arm Josh Norman.
Right.
I'm talking about when he played with the Carolina Panthers in his prime, Josh Norman. Well, to you say what to that?
Norman, well, he was a little bit more physical, in my opinion, you know. But Norman was a guy that you can pretty much, when that mentality clicked in, he wasn't a guy that was a household name year one, year two. But eventually he turned that corner, and you're looking for a cover guy, he was that. But as far as Emmanuel Forbes, I got him inside on the next level until he eat a sandwich or something, because I don't want 100. What are you, 170 pounds, DB?
I don't remember the weight.
Yeah, without 168 or so. He was small, man. Shoot, if he's on the outside, you know, on this level, shoot, these wide receivers know how to play with leverage and squeeze him out. And I love what he brings to the table now. But I'll kick him inside, be a slot guy.
And that's what I was thinking. Like guys like DK Metcalf, boy, he gonna have a hard time with a boy like DK. But the last thing I wanted to say was that, and I'm kind of calling it right now, and I'm gonna revisit this like towards the beginning of the season, is that the boy Mike McCarthy, I think what's gonna end up happening is, if he fails this season, he's going to blame his shortcomings on that. So I'm letting y'all know right now. Mike McCarthy, like, I know we all love quote unquote Big Mike, but I'm telling you right now, if he fails, if he doesn't win 2 playoff games, he don't got Kellen Moore to blame no more. He's going to scapegoat Dak, and he's going to force the Jones family to choose between him or Dak. So I'm letting y'all know, your hero Big Mike, he's going to sell Dak out if he fails.
And if he wins, what's going to happen then?
If he wins, then he just wins.
He just wins.
He just wins.
Look. As much as look. Let me just tell you this. The Cowboys all last year, right, were doomed, right? They no one thought that the Cowboys after week 1 would have won a playoff game, right, or even make it to the playoff there, right? The crimes in Dallas and everything is multiple. It's always overanalyzed, because even if I tell you, when did the last time the Cowboys had back-to-back losing games?
Talking about this season?
Last season, yeah.
I don't think we had one.
We didn't have one. We didn't have one. But it felt like, look, that 12-5 felt like we were 5-12. That's how Dallas is, bro. And I think that when you have a guy like Mike McCarthy, who's going to figure out ways to put things in right spots and places for this year and not have that guy in the way, I think that we will be better than what we were last year, because now we will have at least an identity, a constant flow. And let's not put it all on 4. Let's put it all on team. And I like the way he came out with his analysis on he's not thriving to be the number 1 offense. He's trying to be the number 1 team. So we'll find out, man, of where this season would unfold. I appreciate you, Darius.
All right, now.
That's a good call from him.
Good to have you.
Yes, indeed, man. Thank you. All right, so let me see what happened to this thing. All right, so appreciate you, Darius. All right, so we got 3 callers in a row. Marv, we got MJ, Marv, Point Dexter, then B Bird. So MJ, you're live, man. Talk to me.
What up, my brother?
Nothing to it, Chief.
Hey, I see you back. Good vacation. You and your family. Y'all came back safe.
Yep.
Shalom.
Yep.
Hey, and another thing. Hey, I sent you that thing. Did you see it?
Which one?
You talked about.
Oh, this right here? This list right here?
Yeah. On your phone. Yeah. I'm the one that sent it to you.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you.
I got to send that to, because he made good point on the offense, Dak, Oh, man, I'm saying that. Me and you been saying that all year. Have the fans been listening? Even your boy got it on his hat. Bring the damn ball.
Oh, you talking about that? Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody understand. You look at 2016, that Dak Prescott was dangerous. Everybody on here was like, oh, my God, we got a quarterback. They was jumping for joy. And then we started doing the Kellen Moore thing, thinking he Dan Marino. No, we don't have Dan Marino. We have Dak freaking Prescott.
Right.
Like the play fake and can run out of the pocket and bam, bam, boom, bam, bam.
True.
That's it. Common sense. And if we lose, we go down fight that way.
Right.
If we win big. It's common sense. Just keep it simple, like Coach Mark said. Why
True
are we
that.
trying to make a quarterback something that he's not? We can make this man a Super Bowl champion, and then when Mike McCormick was over there chilling. So now, like I said, he went in there and told Steven, because he loved Kellen, Steven, no.
Mm-hmm.
You either keep me, I don't care. Y'all can get rid of me, I don't care. Everybody going to hire me now because I won 2 games in a row. I won 12-5, 12-5. Now all the NFL, they're going to hire me.
Right, true that.
Keep Kellen or go somebody else. I don't care. Now we got a good game plan. You got a Super Bowl coach on defense that know what he's doing. Now let me put my thing in.
Yeah, my stuff together.
Defense,
yeah.
And we work together as, like you just said, Law. Team.
Yep.
Come on, man. That's how we get this thing. Now we got a running coordinator with the running scheme. We got an offensive coordinator that know how to disguise the plays for Dak. And now I put my mind, all 3 of us working on the same level that make my defense even stronger. Because now we're going to go for the gusto for the killer of the defense.
No doubt, man. One more point, man, before I let you roll. Go ahead.
And I got I had put it on the thing. I said, let me tell this is what I told you. You were talking about the draft.
Right.
And I had an A+ on the draft. And I got down. Hey, my first round was Deontay Banks. My second was Steve Avila. And then I had Nathaniel Dale. But now, guess who I'm going to replace for Nathaniel Dale? It's the Nebraska receiver that ran that 4-3-1. He called
Palmer.
The Nebraska receiver, y'all got to go watch tape on the Nebraska receiver. And then
you talking about Trey? Trey Palmer.
Yeah. And then the other guy is my boy, the Michigan corner. I didn't know that guy was that good.
DJ.
That guy ran a 4-2. Oh my God, unbelievable.
Yeah. DJ Turner.
That's what the Cowboys going for. You know what I'm saying? So, and the big nose tackle, Roderick Martin, out of Western Kentucky.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you so much, MJ, man, for calling in and doing your thing, fam.
I'm excited, Long. I'm just excited. So,
no doubt.
The Joneses, only thing they messed up with before we left, it was just Amari Cooper. That's it. We got rid of the cancer. Now it's on us. Ain't no more excuses.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, MJ, man. Thank you for calling in. That's MJ, y'all, from the 206, man. That's my guy. Shalom, man. Appreciate you, bro. All right, so Point Dexter, you're next, and then B Bird. Let's get this thing rocking. Point Dexter, phone number 3. You're live.
Hey, man, how was your vacation?
Oh, man, it was great, man. We went to an indoor facility resort, so the weather was nice, and the kids enjoyed it, Water park.
That's great, man. We all need that time, man. I love these Cowboys. When I was younger, I didn't have this type of format, to get content. I had to pay for the weekly NFL roundup in the paper, and I always subscribed to the Dallas Cowboy Weekly, and that gave me news. It's so crazy, man. I used to just hunger, for that information. I want to know about my team. I want to know about the players, everything else. Players like Dwayne Thomas back in the day would have broke the internet. Roger Staubach talking to a female reporter telling her, I like sex. Right. I just like it with the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Broke the internet.
Yes, indeed.
But I'm going to give you my little takes here. I heard Mike McCarthy quote about, Kellen Moore wanting to light up the scoreboard, but he wanted to run the ball, and rest the defense,
Right.
Dan Orlovsky and some fools on TV, I picked them up, and they was like, yeah, that's all well and good, but the reason you lost is because your quarterback threw interceptions. So that's what that was. But speaking of running the ball, I'm really disappointed about the Malik Davis thing. I really thought he proved enough during the year that he should have got a shot. He should have got a shot to run the ball. I really thought he should have got a shot to run the ball.
Yep. I mean, the whole thing is with all of that is we should have ran the ball more. And I think I heard a piece of that with Dan Orlovsky on his thoughts of what was going on or what have you. Ultimately, the quarterback will get the blame regardless, and that just comes with the territory. I get with what he's saying, right? From the aspect of, a quarterback, you can't do, like, I get so many messages. Dak is trash. Dak is whack. You're a Dak apologist. I get these messages daily, right? They come in daily, and I can only imagine what would have happened if he ever to win a Super Bowl, right? I think that the Cowboys should always put more and more weapons around Dak Prescott, regardless of the situation. Because if we made it 12-5 last year with just CeeDee Lamb and a guy coming back from an ACL, and on top of that, a guy by the name of Noah Brown, I'm looking at it from the aspect of what we would look like with more and more weapons, right? But I get it. The detractor's going to look at it like it's still going to be the same regardless.
That's what it's going to be. Oh, and one more thing.
Talk to me.
When you see my name lit up on your board, here's my introduction. Here's my ace, my deuce, my main mellow fella, Poindexter. Do it for me one time.
Would you Ace Deuce? You want me to change the name to Ace Deuce?
My main mellow fella.
My main, what was that?
My main mellow fellow.
Mellow fellow, man. Appreciate you, Poindexter. Hey, man, I thank you, man, so much for all that you do for the community, man. I appreciate you for your experience as well. Appreciate you, friend.
I appreciate you.
No doubt.
Love.
Much love to you, man. Yeah, that's Poindexter, y'all. All right, got B-Bird from the 409. You're live.
Hey, what's up, Law? How you doing today?
All is well. I can't complain.
So what I call, we're talking about free agency here, which is where I feel that the team falls short. The top quality free agent is somebody that's, in high demand, their first day signing. You got to give a substantial amount of money to them as far as a contract. Also, you got to bid against other teams. It could be the Jets, could be the Jaguars, somebody else that wants them. If you bring that list back up again of free agents, could you show me one guy in there that's what I just identified?
One guy we had to fight to get out of this list, I would put a maybe by Andy Dalton because of the fact that he was a quarterback, and you had to, 31 the 30 other teams should have been at least saying, okay, they'll wait for a veteran quarterback. I think they always becomes a situation for them. But I don't see one person on this list. Maybe, no, because not even Randall Cobb, because he was considered washed before we got him. I think that's the only guy that I can look back at on this list to say maybe it's Andy Dalton.
And so really you can go all the way back to Brandon Carter and the list would look the same.
Yeah.
The Cowboys just don't deal with, high quality or high, costing or, free agents. They want to deal with getting 4 or 5 in and hoping one hits, which, Jerron Kearse did hit.
Right.
But the thing about that is that, man, we don't, this is not Moneyball. And that's what the Cowboys are playing. Moneyball doesn't even work in MLB because it makes really mediocre teams better. But it doesn't make good teams great because you need players, man. And so Mike McCarthy calling plays is a great start because I think what you're doing is you're getting the hierarchy straight.
Right.
You know, I said earlier on Sky Shows that Kellen Moore was calling plays to get a head coaching job, where now Mike McCarthy will be calling plays to win games. So now you're going to get that lit that, you know, everybody's going to be in line on that. But I still don't want to just say, okay, that's going to be our improvement. We still need to make improvements player-wise.
Right.
You can't look at our wide receiver room and say that we have to be bottom 5 in the wide receiver room if you really look at it. And to get where we got last year, it's a miracle, to be honest with you. There's no way that you lose Tony Pollard, which is 50% of your weapons, to be totally honest with you, in that game, and think that you're going to win that game against San Francisco and you're going to go to Philadelphia and win. It's just not going to happen. You need more players, and you need high-quality players, man. We need to get a good wide receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
And I want to say this one thing before I leave, man. When you said something about your daughter driving a Porsche,
right?
You know what the problem is with that? It's the person that gives your daughter the keys to drive the Porsche.
Right.
And so when I say that, I'm saying that, yeah, Kellen Moore wasn't good. He wasn't seasoned. He didn't come up the right way. But the problem is that the Joneses gave him the keys. And so, you know, who is Kellen Moore to say, no, I don't want to be an offense coordinator?
Right.
You can't give that guy those keys to the Ferrari, man.
Right.
And they did that. And so I can't blame the child for driving it. I got to blame the adults, the one that gave it to him, man. That's all I got to say, Law. I appreciate your time, man. I just want to express those things.
No doubt, man. That's B. Bird, y'all. Great counter to basically what Coach Marv is not Coach Marv versus B. Bird, but that was a great counter to Coach Marv's point. And B. Bird was able to let us know, like, hey, which one of these guys were like household, not just from a name perspective or day one or week one signings. None of these guys. So my thing is right here. Are we a team that can win with what we got? Yes. Right? But when you talk about, let's say, for example, the Industrial Revolution happened before the invention of electricity, right? So what I'm saying is that, can you build stuff without certain stuff? Yes. But if you want to advance, you got to figure out ways to improve and better your best and keep up with them, with the other teams that are doing such. We can't walk around, bang on the table saying we want these results when we don't do or add the recipe of the ingredients of what other teams did to get there. It's not, look, I get it. A lot of Eagles fans, before I even hit live, they were saying, fly, Eagles, fly, Law. The Eagles going back to the Super Bowl next year. Things that your team don't even know what it feels like. But the problem is when you totally look at the picture, I truly believe the Eagles would not made it to the Super Bowl if they didn't go out there and get an A.J. Brown, right? If they didn't move on from Jalen Reagor, if they didn't go out there and figure out ways to add more and more weapons on their defense. And it's just that difficult. But a lot of people will look at it and say, well, hey, Law, look at what Kansas City Chiefs did. No, they still made moves. Even the Chiefs, they re-solidified their offensive line, right? They didn't hassle around and go back and forth with Christopher Jones about his money. They paid him, right? And they didn't hold on to dead weight. They said, all right, hey, Honey Badger, you've been hurt, you've been nicked up. Hey, we'll draft at that spot and we'll move on from you. But the Cowboys don't do those type of things, ladies and gentlemen. And then we get mad at the results that we're left with. Keys, like I said, the keys to the Ferrari, the Porsche 911, to the toddler. All right, I got my guy from the 971. You're live.
Hey, Lo, how you doing?
Hey, all is well. Can't complain.
Hey, don't it feel good to get away, though?
You talking about for the vacation time?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense, man. I'm gonna try something different next year. I might have to leave the phone because when I went away, my phone still was tap dancing. You know,
Man.
yeah. But yo.
Yeah. I know. I just got back from Cali like 2 weeks ago, and I love that shit down in San Jose, man.
San
I love
Jose.
to get out of Oregon for a minute.
Yeah. Mine was an in-state deal. They got a resort called Great Wolf Lodge, and I went there, and you know, everyone had not a good time. We had a great time, so I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I ain't want nothing, man. I just want to holler at you, man, see how you was doing, man. I just been looking at, you know, a little bit of this combine stuff and just everybody try to, you know, I'm going to take a step back, look at everything, you know, do a little film study and stuff like that. On the defense, you know what I'm saying? You know, still get that secondary. Hey, what do you think about getting another safety in there and getting another draft in the corner first round?
Oh, you talking about safety as far as a free agent guy or drafted?
Yeah, free agent, yeah.
Free agency wise,
Because Hooker killed us last year, man.
That hooker, you know. But I'll tell you what. Give me figure out a way to sign Dono, Wilson up for another year, and then elevate Izzy McCamu. You know, I think that those two options right there I won't get mad at that. You don't have to get rid of Malik Hooker. He's still on his last year. Let him play his last year out.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
So
go ahead.
So you think the defense? What did you see? The defense win championships. You and I know that already.
Right.
So what? So you think if they, even though Dan Quinn coming back, I don't know how much him being back gonna help, but he still stop the run. That's the main two issues. I've been harping on this for like the last 3 years.
Right.
You still stop the run, and can you gotta get linebackers in there. And what about everybody want to bring Brown back, man? But I think we need to. See, our problem is we hold on to players too long, man. Like D-Law, didn't get no pressure in the San Fran game. Didn't hardly got any pressure in Tampa Bay. You know, throughout the season he was great, but. You know,
this is what I think of it. All right, so Brown, he should stay gone, right? If you want to trim fat off of the contract, you can save by $5 to $6 million by cutting J. Lou, right? Hell, we just seen a guy run a 4.26 40. You can bring that guy. You can draft a DJ Turner, what have you, to fill in that role and kick and slide land to the outside. Just like a house, I look at defense just like a house. The foundation got to be straight. You know, from the outside looking in, you'll see that house with a poor foundation, and people, if they just paint the shutters and put paint over fresh paint, it would look good, right? That's just masking it. But the plumbing will still be horrid if the foundation is terrible. So what I want the Cowboys to do is dig deep, because you must dig deep in order to fix the foundation. So the foundation will be down in the trenches. You put that in there, you find that big boy, you slide inside, and it would elevate D-Law. It would help out Sam Williams. And then on top of that, you won't have to worry about Parsons getting banged up as much, because teams going to have to account for that big boy.
What about another pass rusher? What about one or two more pass rushers?
Are you talking about via the draft or free agency?
Yeah, both. I mean, we could deep thought. I mean, they were sitting back there, man, and you know, even though we did well against the Bradys, you know, like that, but when it came to the San Francisco, no, I don't see a sack at all. I mean, I saw some. I'll try to get to you, that type of thing, but other than that, you know, it wasn't no sacks. You know, it's like, okay, so. I think we just need to just get more pass rushers. You know, Young. I'm talking about Young, not
Young. You had to go via the draft route. You know, with the 26th pick, you can go draft a guy if he falls to that. I like Murphy. I like that kid. There's some guys that you can go out there and grab. I like the kid from Iowa. You know, so there will be some things that you had to do draft wise. But shoot, JP. Just play the guys you draft, JP. Play Sam Williams more, you know. Just play what you got.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Would you go a linebacker first round, or would you go corner?
If it's the 26th pick, I'm going BPA.
Yeah.
But if it was up to me, I'll work myself whatever closest way from the interior all the way out to the outside.
Right. Okay. One more thing before I'll let
yeah.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep Noah Brown, or do you draft, or do you come out and grab somebody with some super speed in the first and down the line, like second or third round?
I'm trying to figure out a way to add someone else to this team with speed that can take the top off the defense. I'm trying to still do that. Noah Brown, he's gone. I wouldn't re him up. You know what I mean?
My thing is with you is everybody want D-Hop and other guys, great guys, but they cool. But you got to understand, injuries plays a big part in this game.
Right.
If you're not available, then you're not able to play on the. You're not able to play on the field. That's 2 or 3 hammies or knees.
Now, are you talking about now? When you said that question, are you talking about? See, it's twofold question. Were you talking about free agency or draft? That's two different worlds.
I'm talking about now. If we go free agency, if we go up to D-Hop, we got to trade him. I don't know how his contract work out, but everybody talking about this or some other veteran wide receiver. That's cool and everything.
That second round, they put a tender out on for a second round, so you had to give him. You had to do a second round draft pick.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Well, we cool with that. Never mind on that. Then.
Yeah.
So you bring in somebody with some speed that can do something for you, because this offense that we're running. I go back against the Green Bay game that he coached in, and we're going to be similar running that style. Is that correct?
You got to go back and watch the. I think we'll be more similar to the Seattle team. Watch the tape from between 18 through 20 or 17, the year 2017 to the year 2019 or 20, Seattle's team. Just go watch that tape. I think we'll be more the lines of that.
Similar. So we running that scheme? We running okay.
It's still West Coast. It's still West Coast. It's going to be a run-first team. I think that we'll be running more of that style and brand of offense. I think that Dak Prescott, and this is no shade at my guy Dak, he's closer to Russell Wilson than he is closer to Aaron Rodgers, right? So I will put Dak in that realm of what this team would look like versus him looking like Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't put that on Dak.
So one more thing before I let you go. I said that last time.
Right. You good.
What about you bringing in a running back? I mean, I don't know. You're a young buck. If the best player available, you got out of everybody to pick, you going to run it back?
For the 26th pick?
Yeah.
I mean, if the 26th pick is... With the 26th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Jahmyr Gibbs. I won't be mad at it. Shoot. You know what I mean? I'll still be okay with it, That's 4-3 guy, man, in his offense that I know for sure that you got a 4-3 guy out of him, and then you got a 4-3 or a 4-2-9 guy out of Cavante Turpin, who said that he will be utilized more within this offense for the 2023 season. Should give me that, But it just depending on how the Cowboys draft and their philosophy. Remember, I would never look at a draft pick as an isolated situation, but how they would look at it as a collective situation. But I appreciate you, fam, for calling in.
Okay. Hey, catfish and greens, baby.
Catfish and greens, man. Throw some oxtail in there. Appreciate you. You know what I mean? That's my guy, man. JP, man. Always bringing some good thoughts of it up.
Spartan! What is your profession?
And keep in mind, I'm not saying that the Cowboys should get a running back, but the question was, what you feel about the team if they do draft the guy with the 26th pick, being all that it may be at running back. I wouldn't get mad at it, And a lot of y'all wouldn't get mad at it until you see him score a touchdown, right? Until you break one off and you say, "Hey man, I told you, Law, I was a day one Roll Tide Gibbs guy." I'll be looking at y'all like, "Nah, y'all ain't day ones." You know what I'm saying? All right, I got for the 901 JV. You live.
What's going on, Law? How everything going?
Man, all is well, man. Can't complain.
I'll just say that, hey, welcome back, and I'm glad you enjoyed your vacation and things.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk to you about some of the players we have on the team today, like Dennis Houston. I would like to see more improvement from more trust in Dennis Houston and his gameplay this coming up season, because I believe he got the short end of the stick last season.
But here's my thoughts on his work efforts. You know, he was the first one out there on the field. He was the last one, you know, to leave. And Dennis Houston, he pretty much, he was hungry. He wanted the attention out there. He wanted everything. He fought for everything. Nothing was given to him. It's just that when those lights turn on week 1, you throw an undrafted rookie guy out there. Of course, you had to go through some growing pains. And then when your quarterback goes down, and he wasn't the guy that was catching balls from either of those backups, he had to go down too. but go ahead.
Right. Well, so I just hope that he improves this year. I hope that he's able to get a better opportunity than he did last season. And also whoever idea it was to cut John Ridgeway and keep Josh Ball, I think they need to be strapped up to the top of AT&T Stadium and dropped off head first.
Yeah. No doubt,
that's
man.
all I have for today, man. I got to get all back up in here to work. And I just wanted to say, man, it was great having you back. And I just talked with you later on.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, man. It's for the 901 JV, man. Y'all see me. I got the wolf ears on, man. Shout out to Great Wolf Lodge, or what have you. It was great to be out there, and we didn't have a good time at all. We had a great time. So you guys see, you know what it is. All right, let me let my guy, man, last caller, man. 100 grand, man, with the plan from the 201, man. I ain't gonna sing this time for you, man. I ain't gonna sing, man. You know, you thought I was gonna start singing, man. You know what I mean? 100 grand. I ain't gonna sing, man.
I ain't gonna have to hang up on you, man.
Yeah, man. These supposed to be wolf ears. They think it's bunny ears, man. Let me get. You gotta howl for these, man, in order for them to give it to you, man. Great Wolf Lodge, man.
Sir.
It's nice, man. It was nice, man. You know what I mean? But talk to me, man.
You had a good time, good vacay, my guy. Got you back safe. You and the fam.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I had a few people to stop and stare at LA. I'm like, yeah, I'm Law Nation. No, we thought we thought that you was James. Haunted, you know what I mean? I was like, God, no.
I thought you dropped 19 in the fourth quarter 2 days ago, man.
Shoot, I was on vacation when I saw Dame drop 71. I said, man,
yeah, he did.
Shoot. I was like, man, I might want to switch over, start talking Blaze, man. That joker dropped 71. I said, that was impressive though.
Hey,
he was draining them things, man.
It was. I mean, he the team. He the only one over there. Gotta commend him though. He stayed with that team. He ain't never leave. He said, listen, I want to win the chip over here. I don't care. I gotta commend him for that.
Hey, Dame. I be like, Dame, come on, man.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
You need to come to my
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You know, Dame would look good in some LA Lakers, but neither here nor there, man. Oh, he come to Dallas though. He come to Dallas. He come to Dallas though, Mavs. You know.
I mean, he need to come to my Heat, man. He need to come to my Heat. He need that Miami on. He need that Miami on.
Hey, that'll be a good squad though. But he sometimes you can be too loyal. You know what I'm saying? That brother loyal.
He's loyal. He's loyal. You got to give it to him. He's loyal, man.
Yeah.
He is loyal. But, you know, I mean, yeah, he did good. AG scored 39 points last night.
Oh, no. That's what I'm talking about, man.
AG scored 39 points last night, man. Y'all beat Steph Curry and them boys last night.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, before we get to Cowboys content, man.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
John Moran, man, what's going on with him, man? He trying to make it out of the NBA, man. What's going on with him, man? What's going on with John?
You talk about the type of people that you hang with, right?
Right.
And that's the problem, man. He's hanging around the wrong people, and they gonna get him caught up, man. They gonna get him caught up because, all right, even if you hanging around the wrong people, right, Law? It's a situation of let me hold the gun. You don't hold the gun.
You don't hold the gun. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Let me hold it.
And then he ain't holding it right. He holding the gun like, man, yeah, man, come on, man. I'm like, come on, dude. You go.
Don't shoot. Don't shut up off yourself.
He gonna shoot his hip off, man. How he holding the gun, man?
Don't shut up on yourself, man.
Come on, John Moran.
Don't plexico and shut up.
That gun, he had a gun. He had one of them guns this tall, man, this big, man. you remember Man in Black? Remember Man in Black, that dude, that little gun that Will Smith had? You know, he had one of them that was painted black. I said, man, come on, John Moran. You know what I mean? Man, come on, man.
He got the wrong people around him, man. Like, and when I say the wrong people, you got the stupid people around you, because you can have people that's from the hood around you, but they could be smart. You can have people that's in that life, but they smart. Listen, I'm going to hold the gun. I'm not going to be in the picture with you. I'm not going to be on video with you holding it right next to you, but you know I got it. Like, you feel what I'm saying, Law? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Hey, bro, come on.
You in the strip club, too, man. What?
Come on, man.
In the strip club. Where your shirt at, dog? You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, man.
You're supposed to have them boys around you with some things on them, but they not supposed to be saw. Like, if you in the club, strip club, ain't nothing wrong with that. But you got, and ain't nothing wrong with having your boys in security, but they got to be moving right.
Right.
You can't be showing no guns. You got a guy that's worth 200 M's.
200. His next contract, man, finna be $240 million, man. Come on, man. You know,
like, he's the money maker. He's the money maker. If you cut off the money maker, we all ain't eating no more. Come on, man. Like, come on. Somebody got to pull him to the side. Listen, man. You can't be gangster. You got to be buttoned up like LeBron. We need you in these commercials. You got the new sneaker deal with Nike. We need you buttoned up, dog. We gonna handle all the beef. All the beef, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You watch Bel Air. Come on, man. Come on, Bel Air. Come on, man. I can't remember the butler name, but the butler handle all the beef stuff.
It's Butler, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He
Butler.
handle all the beef stuff in the streets.
Button it up, man.
Problems or any beef going on in the streets, he got it.
He got it, man.
Ain't doing that.
Yes,
you know
indeed, man.
Come on, man. Like, that's how you got to move. That's smart. You can't have the money maker out here moving crazy. Now he getting suspended. So now guess what? That's money coming out the pocket. Keep on playing around. Nike don't play them games. As quickly as you got that shoe deal, they're going to drop you.
They're going to drop you, man.
As you got those commercials, they're going to let you go. Look at Zeke. Zeke could have been way more richer. But what happened?
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, now man.
He advertising stuff on Instagram.
Man.
He advertising stuff on Instagram for a good $10,000-$20,000.
But at least Zeke never pulled out a little heat, man. At the strip club.
I said that to say you gotta be clean cut, man. Any little slip up, man, and you'll lose out on money. That's all I'm saying.
You pay Law $3 million, he'll be buttoned up right here. Hey, what happened to Law, dog? He ain't even as raw he's supposed to be, man. You know, I'm apologize for all communities over here. You know what I mean? Hey, Law, why you ain't talking about this topic no more, man? Yeah, man. Come on, man.
Dog. I ain't even gonna touch that topic.
I ain't gonna touch that topic right now. Let me at least enjoy the $3 million. You know what I'm saying? First. Hey, Law, you ain't real no more. Yeah, man. The money changed you. Nah, it just revealed me the whole way, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, did you check out the movie Creed though, man?
I ain't watching it yet.
I ain't gonna talk about it. It's still too new for y'all, man.
About that. I ain't watching it yet. I'm going to watch it.
But what you got for the Cowboys, man?
Man, listen here, man. I don't agree with the tag law. I really don't. I hate it. I hate the fact that we just Jerry Jones and this deadline make deals, man. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get that. That's not smart, man.
Yeah.
It's not smart. It's
definitely
not.
not. It's definitely not.
And people say, yo, you know, how they come to a deal with Michael Gallup, but they ain't come to a deal with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard ain't trying to accept no. This is his first contract. You think he gonna take $5 million? Okay. You think he gonna take $8 million? Okay. No. He want to get paid. This is his first contract. He know he a running back.
Right. This is first
He's
big one,
trying to
man.
get as much money as possible.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If the Cowboys were to approach him when he had that plantar fasciitis, he wouldn't have had that. He wouldn't have had that leverage. He would have been like, "Oh, okay. Oh, you guys wouldn't. Oh, this. Okay, all right, cool. Y'all like me. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's the Cowboys' way.
But law. He's hurt now. And
He's hurt
they're
now.
coming to him with a contract now. So imagine if they would have did that, like you said, right? And then he got hurt. What would you be saying?
No, they shouldn't.
Cowboys did it. Thank you.
No, man, no. but it wouldn't have been this much. His asking price wouldn't have been this high, right? His asking price would have been you've been absorbed.
Why the Cowboys go to this man when he was hurt, paid him, and now he hurt again? So
well, here's what we got with this though. Here's what we got with this. Remember a guy by the name of Blake Jarwin?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody talking about him no more, right? Because when it was time to pay him, they went on ahead and paid him. They didn't hold his feet to the fire. They went on and paid him. When he got hurt, it was like, dang, man, that's bad for him, right? But now he just back page of any news, you know, because we went on ahead and paid him, and then when he got hurt, we just said, okay, all right, injury settlement. So I think that's why it's always better to make sure that you go ahead and pay those boys before they get into the end of life of their contract. And now you got morals on the table. Like, morally, do you let Tony Pollard go without paying him? And it's quite strange to me that all of a sudden they can't come up. Look, the Cowboys got a lot of times that they can't come up with these agreements, right? They couldn't come up with an agreement with Brandon Cook. They couldn't come up with an agreement with Jerry Jeudy. They couldn't come up with an agreement to Donovan Wilson and LVE contract, from what I'm hearing. And now they can't come up with an agreement with dare I say, Tony Pollard. So what's up with all of these? I can't come up with an agreement. What's the agreement? What they trying to do?
Want to know why? Because Stephen Jones trying to lowball these boys, and these boys ain't going for it. These boys ain't going
for it. Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying? But they're turning around and say, Dak the reason why we can't pay these boys. No, it's not Dak. It's Stephen Jones don't want to pay nobody.
And you know why? You know why I got to that point? Because they couldn't come up with an agreement for Dak Prescott. Don't you know how he got there? Because of the simple fact they waited too long. You know, deadlines used to make deals. Right.
No choice.
They had no choice.
You know what I'm saying? The only reason why Tony Pollard is here is because of that franchise tag. If there was no franchise tag, Tony Pollard would be gone. Because you know what they would say? All right, let's go to the draft and let's get somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? That's the only reason why they couldn't do that with Dak, because they ain't want to take a step backwards and get a rookie quarterback in here and go through the growing pains all over again. So they ain't had no choice.
But you know what? You know what I wish now? Instead of a situation where you can franchise tag players, because I think that's just kind of crazy to me in general. Mm-hmm. I think that franchise tags should be only held for, hear me out, for negotiation. And if you can't come up with an agreement beyond that negotiation standpoint, the player can't play. I think players shouldn't be able to play on franchise tag. I think it should be only used for placeholders. Yeah,
That'd be bad for the player, Lord. That'd be bad for the player.
Well, at the end of the day, playing on. Well, at some point, the salary cap, because the owners use the salary cap as the reason why they don't want to pay players, right? But when we look at it, like we see the money coming in, $111 billion, even though it have to be split upon this deal and that deal, we know that the money that the NFL is making is way more than what the players are getting or receiving, right? Yeah. So not only do you hurt and stunt the player from testing the market, because everybody literally want to be able to see the market, to taste the market, but what the franchise tag, you cut all of that out and say, all right, the whole point with the Dak Prescott not worth X, Y, Z is because the Dallas Cowboys or Dak Prescott never got a chance to even see the open market because of the franchise tag. If you allow him to test the open market, then you would say to yourself, all right, well, shoot, his value is this much because X, Y, Z, and other teams are willing to pay this amount of money for said quarterback. But by you cutting the legs out from under the player, it makes like the franchise tag makes it appears that the players are greedy, not the owners.
Agreed. But they know if they let Dak Prescott see the market, it would have blew them out the water, and they wouldn't have been in the market to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why they doing that, and I think it's the same thing for Tony Pollard. A team would have paid that man that money. Straight period. The team would have paid that man that money. Look at Daniel Jones, about to get 45.
45.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he about to get more than Dak Prescott. But ain't nobody saying Daniel Jones ain't worth that money. It ain't blah, blah, blah. Daniel Jones ain't. But we already know why, because this is America's team, and any quarterback that plays for America's team is going to get the scrutiny all the time. That's just how it goes. That's just how it is. I don't care if you Dak Prescott. I don't care if you Tony Romo. You get the same. It's the same scrutiny. Same thing.
Doubt,
so
man.
it ain't got to deal with no skin color or nothing. It's just that if you the quarterback of the Cowboys and you don't get the job done, then Cowboys Nation wants somebody else to sit in that seat. That's just how it is.
No doubt, man.
What I mean?
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, man. What else you got, man, before I let you roll?
That's it, man. Guys, holler at me. Graphic Zone HD on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, man. For all your graphic needs, holler at me.
No doubt, man.
Lord, man, you don't send me my helmet, man. I'm coming to your house, bro.
Hey, man, Charles, I just made it back, man. I just made it back from vacation, man. I feel you, man. You going to hold my feet to the fire, man. Yeah. Hey, Law, man. Hey, man, what happened to this helmet you supposed to send me, man? Shame on you, dog. You know what I mean? I got you, though, man.
Shame.
I got you, though. Yes, indeed. That's my guy, 100 grand, man. You know, hey, I'm Jerry Jones in you right now. You just don't know it, man. I'm going to put you in the Ring of Honor. I promise you. I'm going to put you in the Ring of Honor, you know. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, 100 grand. Bro. You know what I mean? 100 grand with the plan, baby. I ain't gonna sing to him though. Y'all charge to my head, not my heart, man. Yes, indeed. Man, Law said that man want a helmet. He still haven't received that helmet yet. You know what I'm saying? What Law is doing? Yes, indeed. So yeah, I saw pieces of the Chris Rock thing. He had a special on Netflix. Shout out to him. What other movie? I saw Creed. Creed was a real good movie. I'm going to let you guys watch it, you know, before I start talking about Creed or what have you. Creed was really good this time that I was off or what have you. Got a chance to sit back and watch a few things. I wanted to watch the multiverse deal with Doctor Strange. Was it Doctor Strange? No, Ant-Man. I wanted to watch the Ant-Man deal, Quantum, what have you. But it was just hard to find, you know, the arrangement. So we fooled around and watched Creed. Creed was a real good movie, by the way. What other movie I got a chance to check out? The movie was on, was it on Prime? Yeah, I think it was on Prime. It was called Fall. It was a real good movie. This lady and her friend and her husband, they were climbing a rock or what have you, a tall mountain, when their husband fell off of it. And they were these thrill seekers. They went and do things to get their adrenaline going. So one girl, she wanted to climb the tallest radio satellite, radio antenna. Yeah, and she fell off of it. It was crazy. It was crazy. But that was a real good movie called Fall. And it let me know these things. Sometimes it's better to assess and evaluate things while you're on the ground versus climbing 2,000 feet above air to assess and evaluate your demons, your fears, or what have you. Sometimes you can assess yourself and do a self-inventory while you're on the ground, by the way. And the Cowboys, the reason why I'm going to tie this all in, Quantum Mania, appreciate you. Yeah, reason why I want to tie this into the Cowboys is they wait until they get 5,000, 2,000 feet in the air, and then they want to assess themselves. Fall was the name of the movie. Let me see if I can bring it over here. Boom. Yeah, that movie right here. Real good movie, by the way. And they wanted to climb to the top of the radio antenna station wire thing or what have you to make their own assessments of life. I'm trying not to say the movie or tell you the reason of the movie. But she's talking about punching fear in the face. But at the end of the day, the fear then allowed them to assess things 2,000 feet in the air. Now, if it was up to me, y'all, you know what I mean? And I was climbing a mountain and my partner or someone fell off of it, you couldn't get me to jump off of a porch. You know what I'm saying? To talking about assessing your fears or what have you. Law, what's wrong with you, man? I thought you said, man, Law, I thought you said that, hey, man, you want to fight your fears or what have you. Nah, but I want to fight my common sense too. And to me, personally, you can assess your fears on the ground. You don't have to go climb the tallest radio tower to do such, right? But it was a real good movie. It's called Fall. You know what I'm saying? Check out the movie. Real good suspense. As you can see, they climbed way up there. And then the ladder fell from up under them, and they were stuck 2,000 feet in the air with no cell phone signals and things like that. I would be like a nah fan. I'm good. Yeah. Come on, let's climb 2,000 feet in the air and let's make our assessment. And that's what the Cowboys tend to do. They like to get all the way to the salary cap, and then they do their negotiation way up here. When they look. Woo, now this video is all making sense to me, right? The analogy, when you was down here, you could have made the assessment out of Tony Pollard and signed and extend him. But what you did was you allowed Tony Pollard to climb to this tall part right here, and now you want to sit down and make your assessments. And now you're realizing when you get to the top, you didn't make necessary plans in order for a safe landing. Law, what are the safe landing? Well, did you know they could have climbed this tall radio tower or radio antenna, whatever it may be, and they could have had parachutes on the back of them, right? Why would you need parachutes? Just in case you get up there and the ladder fall, you could just jump off and release the parachute, right? Or they could have literally brought more supplies. Gloves. The lady climbed up there with no gloves, right? The ladies also, they had some chucks, man. Come on. Maybe shoes with better gripping, right? Things that you need to prepare yourself. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have the opportunity and not be prepared, right? So those ladies were not prepared. And she said that she allowed her 67,000 YouTuber subscribers, right, to know where they was going. But could you reach out to your community, right, and say, hey, we finna climb this tall radio tower. There's 2,000 feet in the air. And if you guys haven't heard from me within 24 hours, call 911. Something drastically happened. That's also planning your future, making sure that the things that you have in front of you are valid. So this lady, She climbed this 2,000 feet, right? 2,000 feet in the air. And she said she had a following of 67,000 subscribers, right? And not one person within a week notified the police that, hey, or 911 or anybody of what they were doing or what they were planning on doing. So it goes back to this. That is what the franchise tag is all together too. You got to make sure that, hey, if I'm going to do this, if it all don't work out, at least I got cushion at the bottom. At least I got a contingency plan put in place. And the Cowboys for many of years don't have any cushion. They get all the way up to these high heights and they say, all right, now we're going to start a negotiation. No, it shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't be that way, ladies and gentlemen. Aztec, X-Men is my favorite Marvel characters, but unfortunately they rebooted under Disney and will be garbage. I feel you, fam. X-Men. Shout out to X-Men. Clickbaits matter. Shout out to you, Trey. Thank you so much. The Flash is tight. Laugh out loud, but he ain't Bruce Wayne, you know. Yeah, he ain't Bruce Wayne. I appreciate everybody for tuning in for this long show. I'm going to roll up out of here. I thank y'all so much. Shout out to you, Lisa. Thank those who donated. Thank those who shared this content. I appreciate you guys. I'm back. And we're going to have more and more information throughout the day. Be sure to check out other content creators that's live right now. I thank y'all. I love y'all to the moon and back for allowing me to get to 97,000 subscribers. Let's continue to grind to shine on the YouTube. Shout out to the Facebook community as well with the 44K there. I appreciate y'all as we grow over there and on the Instagram. I appreciate you all for what you guys do and also on the Twitter and TikTok and Amazon and Roku devices. Shout out to you, Coach Marv. A question: how many major impacted players have changed a team by free agent? No trades. Next, Kellen pushed the move about Cooper. Kellen gone. Let made it on Ridgeway. Let gone. Offensive line coach on Ball now. He's gone. Edwards on Barr. He's gone. Okay. So question: how many major impacted players or impact players have changed teams by free agencies and not trade? On that questioning there, Coach Marv, on other teams, we can primarily look at the last 10 Super Bowls, right? Let's look at the last 10 Super Bowls. And every one of those Super Bowls, there was a free agent guy that they done picked up, made an impact for their team. Every last one of them. I think that's the ongoing pattern right now. But I see what you said. Next, Kellen moved to push him to get out of the way for Amari Cooper. He's gone now. And Leon Lett made it the ability to move on Ridgeway, and now he's gone. And then the offensive line coach pushed for Ball, and now he's gone. And Edwards pushed for Barr, now he's gone. And all of those guys mutually somehow agreed to leave. So, yeah, that's one thing. Maybe we can go over that when I get a chance to dive deep into that. But I appreciate y'all so much. Shout out to you, Trey. She says, we love you more, Law. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Ed 100K, Law Nation. Appreciate y'all, man. I thank y'all. But here's the thing, though. The Dallas Cowboys, at the end of the day, Jerry Jones, he controls everything that's on this team. And we can go back and forth. We can talk about this and that. But I think at the end of this interview, he was saying things like this. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Here we go.
And go try to sell somebody. I don't want to go back that far. And so, yeah, I run scared.
So, guys, let's get something going on here.
Listen.
There is always this season. An owner who's already won 3 Super Bowls wants only one thing. And when it's America's team, there's only one authority he can negotiate with.
I made a deal with the guy above. If he'd give me that third one, I'd never ask again. I I've been trying to figure out how to make another trade.
The guy above may be telling you a deal's a deal.
Well, as long as I know where he is, and I do, then maybe we can recraft the deal a little bit from time to time. We need another Super Bowl.
Yeah, so yes, indeed. So that's the deal he said he made. And we are suffering from the decisions he made, unfortunately. Now, I'm not here to let you guys say that, hey, his decision should not affect us. But unfortunately, it is. There was a storyline many and thousands of years ago. That the seer told David, don't count your troops. Don't count how many. Don't do that. That's a shame upon the fact that you will now stand tall and say these are the things you done. Juxtaposed, I'm paraphrasing, to the grand creator, what's above them provided for you. But counting your own troops will be equivalent for you taking the credit. And David thought and he thought. And he said 2 tears in a bucket. I'm going to do it regardless. I'm going to count my own troops. And he did it. And the consequences and the problems were placed not just on him, within the storylines of that story. The surrounding people perished because of his decision, because of his thoughts. Why? Because when you are the leader and you are the captain of the ship, sometimes the issues are not just on you. It's on anyone and everyone surrounding you. Right? So when the seer came back to him and said, hey, pick your poison. Either you can flee again, right? Or there can be famine in the land. Or we can bring the plagues. The choice is yours. Since you did the things that we told you that the great creator said not to. The problems were still there. The issues were still there. And I think he thought to himself, I don't want to flee anymore. I don't want to run anymore. I've been fleeing all of my life. And wait, I don't want famine in the land for 6 or 7 years. No. Bring me the 3 days worth of flies. The plague, bring the plague upon me. The word said that over 180,000 people perished just because of his thoughts, just because of his willingness to count the people, the soldiers, the troops. And think about this. When Jerry made that deal, whatever deal he done made, I don't know what it was. But he said, hey, if I ask you for this one good favor, can I win this Super Bowl this year? In 1994, 95 years, I believe, 95. And we are up under the curse of Jerry Jones for that decision. It's affecting all of us. And we had nothing to do with it. We just love this team. Ain't that something? But neither here nor there. I appreciate y'all so much for standing tall with the nation. And we up under that spell for whatever Jerry Jones done said, with whatever he done did to get that last ring. And we see things happening over and over again, and we are expecting different results, unfortunately. But I come here to tell y'all right now, I'm still going to fight. I still going to love this team. None of you guys can change my mind on it. And for dog sure, Jerry Jones and his thoughts and his mindset will not change me loving this team. That's why we got to stay focused. Write this down before I roll up out of here. And I've been saying this for years. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you all hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, and plan, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or famish, or fame, or sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty, guess what, Jerry, and everyone that's listening? You will get it. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. One love, baby.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Jerry, help your boy out, man. Just sit down, man, somewhere. Please, Jerry. We need for you to hush your mouth, man, and sit on down, man. You didn't do your homework. And when you don't do your homework, and when it's time for you to take the test again, you can't generate and show your worth. You can't. Yes, indeed. One love, y'all. Until next time. Run it up.
I've been really in the field, lot of rush.
Roll those credits. Stanley Bailey, appreciate you. Sadiq, thank you. Much love to you, Coach Marv. J Versick, J Day, appreciate you. JC Cowboys Network, shout out to you. Matt Batten, appreciate you. Jason Jesus, Scott, Eddie O.
Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play.
Charge it to the game. Come on.
I'm with Bay, I'm with Jay, I'm with Chuck and now.
Hey.
Still the same, not switching sides.
Sade, I see you, fam. Shout out to all that's on the Facebook groove as well. For all the stars.
Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this.
Allegedly, everything is alleged.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Yeah.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Shout out to you, Tupac.
Yeah, I just be off the dome. I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clones. Yeah. I be at
Showtime Sports Media.
I be on road alone.
Come on. Shout out to you.
I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
You can't handle the truth.
Count that too. Count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Don't miss, man. He's good. In the heat of battle, he don't miss. No. In the heat
Lately,
of
I
controversy,
just
he
wanna
don't
run
miss.
it up.
With the 26th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Law Nation. Let me see how the Eagles like that pick. Law Nation is on the Cowboys now, man. They unstoppable, man, you know. Oh, man, they done shot themselves.
Sacrifice, don't give up the fight. Everything will be all right on any given Sunday, yeah. Depend on you if you win or lose. You know you got to pay some dues to live on Monday, yeah.